So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this behemoth of a free video. So what I'm going to be doing today is jumping into a completely free training. This is probably going to take around 30 to maybe even 45 minutes, something like that. Hopefully I'll try to keep it as short as possible, but there is a lot to cover. There's over 75 slides on my computer here of sheer value on what a social media marketing agency is, why you should start one, why not, go and start another sort of business online. I'm also going to be breaking down exactly what niche you should get into, what are the best outreach methods for each niche and stuff like that. I'm also going to be breaking down exactly how to price your services, what services to even offer, and I'm also going to be breaking down exactly how to close clients even if you are a beginner with zero past experience or no case studies. So without any further ado, guys, let's jump straight into these slides because there is a lot to cover. So again, welcome to this presentation on how to start a social media marketing agency / digital marketing agency in 2021. This is the ultimate guide. I have done my best, my very best, to include everything you could possibly need in order to start a social media marketing agency from complete scratch. So this is a complete A to Z guide. This is also going to be helpful not only if you're a beginner, but also if you are, at that 1 to 2 client mark or even 3 to 4 client mark. I'm going to be showing you and breaking down some really cool stuff that's going to give you extreme clarity on what the business model is, what it entails, how you go about scaling it, automating it, and what sort of software you need. Everything is basically included in this presentation right here. So make sure you stay to the end because there's some really valuable stuff that you do not want to miss. So here are some of the topics we are going to be covering. So I'm going to be covering what exactly is a social media marketing agency / digital marketing agency, because I know a lot of people kind of confuse it with like MLM. Is it some sort of MLM? Is it some sort of pyramid scheme? Is it like a scam or something like that? So I'm going to be breaking down exactly what a social media marketing agency is or a digital marketing agency is. I'm also then going to be breaking down why exactly you should start a social media marketing agency in 2021 in particular, and why it's a great business model to get into at this moment in time. I'm also going to break down exactly how they work. I'm going to break down the essential parts of the business model into basically 5 essential parts that you really need to hone down and master. I'm then going to show you exactly what you need to start, what software you need, whether you need a website or not. I'm also going to show you exactly how much you probably are going to need per month in order to run a successful social media marketing agency. I'm then going to show you exactly what niche you should get into, what services you should provide to that particular niche, and how to actually price those services so you can go about closing clients and making money. I'm then going to show you exactly how to reach out to clients, the best methods of setting up meetings. I'm also going to be showing you exactly how to personalize first lines and what sort of methods you should use, such as should you cold call, should you cold email, should you send out Facebook messages, all that sort of stuff. I'm going to be breaking that down in this video as well. I'm also going to show you exactly how to go about getting clients with zero past experience. I'm actually going to be breaking that down because I know that a lot of people come into SMMA and they're worried about not being able to get clients because they have zero past experience and they don't really know how to start a social media marketing agency or get their clients great results. Then I'm actually going to show you how you actually go about getting awesome results for your clients, even as a complete beginner. Now, I know that sounds, super hard to believe, but I'm actually going to be getting into that at the end. So make sure you stick around to the end of this video again. So first and foremost, I just want to break down what is a social media marketing agency / digital marketing agency, because I know that a lot of people see the word SMMA and they get confused, or they see the word DMA and they get slightly confused. You've probably seen it around the internet and stuff like that, and you've always wondered what exactly is this social media marketing agency. If you guys already know what social media marketing agency is, go ahead and skip a few minutes ahead of this. I just want to break down exactly what a social media marketing agency is and what the difference between a digital marketing agency is and a social media marketing agency. So I've actually pulled up a couple of actual definitions from Google itself. So a social media marketing agency, or social media marketing should I say, is the use of social media platforms and websites in order to promote a product or a service. So basically all you're doing is you're using social media such as Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, you name it. If it's a social media site and you're using that to promote some sort of product, service, event, something like that, you are actually partaking in social media marketing. So social media marketing is basically what it sounds like on the tin. You're using social media platforms in order to promote some sort of product or service or event basically. So digital marketing. Now, digital marketing is basically broader term because social media marketing is basically using social media, whereas digital marketing is using the whole internet and online means that is digital in order to promote services, products, or events basically. So digital marketing is the broader term, and social media marketing actually lives within digital marketing, because social media is digital. So in layman's terms, digital marketing is pretty much the use of any sort of internet/digital media platform in order to promote products or services. So it's a much broader term that basically encompasses anything basically internet based that you're using to actually promote services. So digital marketing sort of services include social media marketing itself, email marketing, SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, etc., etc. So anything that's basically on the internet. Now you're probably thinking, okay, cool, now I understand kind of the differences between a digital marketing agency and a social media marketing agency, but which one do I basically pick, Montel? Well, that's a great question. So me personally, I've seen that both of these types of businesses can actually be scaled to eye-watering heights in terms of monthly profit. But in my own personal opinion, I would actually recommend you stick to social media marketing for now and start a social media marketing agency. The reason being, and again, that's over a digital marketing agency. Now, the reason being for that is because you're probably already familiar with social media and how to use it. You're probably, in fact, you're using it right now to actually watch this video on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, if I posted it somewhere else, then apologies. You probably have Instagram on your phone, Facebook on your phone, some sort of social media such as Snapchat on your phone. So you're probably already used to using social media anyway. So I think, why not just use your expertise on how you're using that to actually help other business owners? Because some business owners don't even know how to post on Facebook or even, boost a post or something like that. Really, really easy to do. We've pretty much grown up using it, and that's a valuable skill. Now, not only that, but social media is pretty much everywhere, and everybody who basically lives on the internet hangs out on some form of social media website or the other. Now, it's actually much, much simpler, I found, to actually target the right people using social media. It's a little bit more difficult to do using like email marketing and like SEO. SEO is a very like a delayed type of service, if you will. I've also seen that and again, SEO lives under digital marketing. Now, so guys, as you pretty much seen throughout the trends, I'm pretty sure if you go to Google and just type in like social media statistics, you can see that pretty much everybody and their friggin' uncle has either a Facebook or Instagram account. Now, for this reason alone, I believe, the social media stuff is home to the greatest traffic sources on planet Earth. And what I mean by that is pretty much everybody and their uncle has either a Facebook or Instagram account, so you can literally target those people. Why you should start a social media marketing agency in 2021 in particular. See, if you take a look at the graph on the left here, you can see that the number of paid employment has actually decreased significantly. And this was back in Q1 of 2020. And as you can see, it's continuing throughout Q3 of 2020. And what it's going to do is continue to rise slowly and gradually. It's going to get better, of course, as things go back to normal. But as you can see, the pandemic has done absolute numbers on terms of employment and getting and people being laid off. So as you can see, the graph from HMRC pretty much says all I need to say. Due to the pandemic, more and more people are being laid off from their jobs. You see, going to school, getting good grades, a good degree, quote unquote secure job is no longer a safe nor a viable plan anymore. You see, we are not living in the 1970s where this sort of action, going to school, getting a good grades, getting a good degree so you can get a secure job, that was the route back in the 1970s. But now we are living in the digital era where anything is pretty much possible if you have the internet, and I'm guessing you guys have internet and a laptop if you're watching this video. You see, the pandemic has completely just shook the world and turned it upside down, and it's advanced us digitally 5 years plus in less than a year. No joke. So me personally, I'm not too into the whole conspiracy theories, but to me, it actually looked very clear as to what they're trying to pull off with these lockdowns. I'm not going to get into all like the conspiracy theories, but to me, it genuinely is evident to me that this is not just about the virus. This is what you call great reset of the economy. They're trying to basically increase our online spending. They're trying to, get rid of cash. They're trying to move businesses online. They're locking down local businesses and forcing them to basically close because they can't stay open, because they can't afford to actually keep their doors open, because they're getting no customers, because they can't get customers, because they're freaking closed, because the government's telling them to close. So to me, it's genuinely obvious that these people, I would guess these tyrannic type of people, the government if you will, are trying to pull over one on us. As in, they are trying to lock down businesses, they're trying to get rid of small businesses, they're trying to get rid of cash, they're actually trying to have a one world government. I don't want to go into all the conspiracy theories, but you guys can go and look into that by yourself. I'm just going to keep to my business stuff here. So now, while all that's going on the flip side, online businesses are actually thriving, to say the least. And that's because more and more people are stuck at home. So they're turning to the internet connected devices to alleviate their boredom. And because of this, there's more eyeballs on social media. So it's easier to actually serve advertisements to people on social media at this moment in time, because there's more people on social media. Now, that means it's going to be easier to get people to buy. It's also going to lead to unseen spikes in sales as well. And as you can see on the left hand side of the graph, e-commerce sales has basically jumped 52 billion in sales over just like a 1 year period, all because of the whole COVID thing, which is absolutely insane. You can obviously pause this and read some of the stats, but I want to go make sure that we go through this. So guys, as you can see, COVID-19 has accelerated the growth of e-commerce tremendously. So this is according to an Adobe report that I actually found. I think it might be a couple of months old at this point, back in 2020. But as you can see, it's saying that total spending in May hit 82.5 billion, which is up 77% year over year, which is obviously insane. And again, if you want to go check this source, it's from Forbes and Adobe. Let's just summarize this on why you should actually start a social media marketing agency in 2021. In summary, right? Jobs are becoming less and less secure, and more people are being laid off, all whilst more and more businesses are turning to online means to stay alive because they need to. This basically means business owners who have not had to ever rely or learn how to get customers online are now needing to adapt in order to do so they can actually basically stay alive, and it's for their own survival. So to me, as you can see, there's literally a double trend here. More and more people are getting laid off, which means jobs are no longer secure, which means you can't put your faith in the government or some sort of employment scheme or something like that. Then there's also, on the flip side, more and more businesses are turning to online stuff. So that to me is just literally screaming, start an online business, start an online business, start an online business. And it doesn't really take a genius to spot this opportunity, to be honest with you. Okay, you're probably sat there wondering, okay, cool, well, Montel, I can see that local businesses are shutting down, it's becoming less secure. So it does look like it's a great time to now start an online business, which if you're thinking that, you're definitely thinking on the right terms. But you're also probably thinking, okay, but why a social media marketing agency in particular? Why don't I go start Amazon FBA, affiliate marketing, or e-commerce dropshipping or something like that? So why start a social media marketing agency in particular? Well, reason number one is because there's no product costs. You're not producing any sort of product. There's no shipping cost, there's no product cost, there's no development costs or anything like that. Because you're selling a service, there's actually no product cost. I've already mentioned there's no shipping cost because again, you're not shipping anything, you're actually selling a service over the phone. There's no advertising cost when you first get started out. You can run ads for your agency, but it's not necessary until you're making a significant amount of money. So there's no advertising cost. So if you were to do drop shipping, for example, you definitely have to obviously think about shipping costs, product costs, because obviously you don't have to build the products yourself if you're outsourcing them so with e-commerce dropshipping and stuff like that, you definitely don't have to worry about like product costs because you're obviously importing those from China. But yes, product costs are still slightly a thing in e-commerce dropshipping, just because obviously you're gonna have to pay for those products off the top of when a customer comes and buys your product, obviously you have to pay for those products. For Amazon FBA, of course, you have to pay for your products and order them in bulk. Now with SMMA, you can obviously start from your bedroom. You can actually start this with just an internet connection, a laptop, a computer. You can even, I've even heard of people start this on their iPads and stuff like that. I wouldn't recommend it because it's just better on a desktop or some sort of computer, so you can open multiple tabs and be more productive that way. Now, you don't really need any money to start. I mean, you can literally start with an email address and that's it. No joke. I'm going to show you exactly how you do that as well. And with a social media marketing agency, you can literally get started right after this video, and it will probably take you less than 4 hours to completely set up your business. You could probably do it in 2 hours if you're really like trying to go quick with this. But literally after this video, there is no reason why you shouldn't have a social media marketing agency, and you should start, like, seriously. So another reason why I recommend you start a social media marketing agency over all the other businesses is because it's a reliable source of income. This is, of course, if you can retain your clients, it is a reliable source of income, unlike any other businesses such as dropshipping. Because think about it, when you close a client with a social media marketing agency, let's say that they're paying you $1,000 a month, for example. That's like the cliche line to use from all the quote unquote social media marketing agency gurus. When you close a client for $1,000 a month, that $1,000 a month, if you have a contract in place for 3 months or 6 months, for example, for 6 months time, or 3 months time, however long your contract is, you are going to get paid that $1,000 a month. Whereas with e-commerce, for example, products that you're selling may go hot be hot 1 month and then go completely dead, like the fidget spinners and stuff like that. So your income is actually directly tied to that, which is why SMMA is such an appealing business model. Also, with SMMA, you only really need around 5 to 7 clients to be making 10K profit per month, not like hundreds or thousands of sales a month from like your e-commerce dropshipping store. Now, profit margins as well are absolutely beautiful when it comes to social media marketing agency. If you do this right, you can actually have profit margins north of 90%. Now, I personally haven't seen these sorts of profit margins in any other business model yet, besides like selling online courses, because obviously they're like you record them once and they're online forever basically. So those are just some really cool, awesome reasons why you should start a social media marketing agency over the other business models. Hopefully you can start to see the trend here and see the appeal in the business model. So you're probably thinking, awesome, well, Montel, that sounds cool and all, but how does a social media marketing agency work? Well, in the most simplest form possible, if I could break this down in the most simple way possible, a social media marketing agency works like this. You basically get paid on a monthly basis to help businesses either get more customers or sales from their social media using advertising or you can get paid to manage a business's social media accounts and basically create content on their behalf so that they have a solid online presence without themselves needing to basically spend a whole bunch of time doing it themselves. So basically, either way, you're offering a service and you're basically like an accountant. It's genuinely not a sexy business model, but it basically works. And I've noticed that in business, it's always the least sexiest stuff that basically works. So you're basically like an accountant. You're offering a service to a business owner. And you can either be a convenience offer. Convenience offer basically helps people save time. So for example, if I help a business owner with their social media, that's basically me helping them save time, because yes, they can do it themselves. It's pretty easy to learn. They probably can learn how to post pictures and stuff like that on their social media in just one YouTube video. But having me do it basically allows them to focus on other areas of their business, and obviously that's important, such as customer service, all that sort of stuff, or growing or creating new deals and offers and stuff like that. So that's a convenience offer. Or you can be an opportunity offer, which is basically like you're helping them make more money or save more money. So here's the business model 101. What I'm going to do is break the business model down into 5 crucial areas. Again, this is like a 10,000 foot overview. There's definitely more areas of the business than this. These are like the 5 main pillars of a social media marketing agency. So we have lead sourcing and prospecting. Lead sourcing and prospecting, this is basically looking for businesses that are qualified for your services. Now, what you're looking for is certain indicators that point towards a certain business being able and in the right position to afford your services, that basically need your services and they can afford them. Basically, if I was to say it in the simplest way possible. The best way to prospect is to get specific on who your ideal client avatar is and then lay out your own pre-qualifying features. So for example, you want to work with e-commerce businesses that have like 20K followers on Instagram, have a Facebook pixel installed, and who are already running 5 to 10 ads. That would basically give you a good indication that this business owner, number one, takes social media serious in terms of they have the 20K followers on Instagram. So that's like their shop, if you will. Their online presence is strong, basically. Having a Facebook pixel installed as well also indicates that they understand Facebook is important and that they should be tracking visitors. Also makes our job easier as advertisers because they probably have a more seasoned pixel. And then the last point is, running 5 to 10 ads. Despite popular belief, I actually go after businesses that are already running ads because that shows me they have some sort of advertising budget. So those are just a couple of indicators that would show to me that this business is qualified and they can afford my services as well. So outreach, this is the second point. This is probably the most important bit of SMMA. Now, this is leveraging the right medium / platforms such as cold emails, cold calls, LinkedIn, etc. for contacting business owners directly in order to set up a meeting with them. This is the point. You want to set up a meeting with them. Your job with outreach is just to sell the meeting, not your actual services. What your aim is to not sell your services via the cold call or cold email or whatever outreach you're doing, but to sell the idea of you having a quick 15-minute chat with the business owner. Now, I've found that if you call your calls something like free growth analysis session, I've seen that has a higher perceived value than just saying, a quick 15-minute call, just because it sounds like you're going to be jumping into more high level stuff with the business owner. And I've seen that they go for that more. So after outreach, that then leads us on to the actual meeting, the social media marketing meeting, or the sales call, if you will, and closing. So the meeting and closing. Now, this is basically where you sell the client on the idea of signing with your agency and becoming a client of yours. Now, the best way to do this is to create a script that is based around what I like to call the quote unquote bridge method of closing, where you do not actually sell, you actually diagnose. So selling you don't want to do because it comes across as sleazy, especially if you're talking to business owners as well. And if you're very pushy, it can actually put them off. I've seen that if you use what you call the bridge method and diagnose their current situation and their desired situation, and then you sell them on the idea of your services helping them to bridge that gap between where they are currently at and where they want to go, it's much easier to close a client that way. So that basically means, despite popular belief and what you might believe, you are not actually selling them on social media marketing or Facebook ads or whatever your service is. You're actually selling them on a better future. So you're not actually there selling Facebook ads. You're genuinely selling them the idea of getting from point A to point B, which is their current situation and their desired situation. We'll be getting into the script as well in a second, so definitely make sure you stay around for that. So payments and onboarding is next after you close. So I want to do this in obviously sequential order. So lead sourcing, outreach, then you obviously land meetings, you then close those meetings. What do you do after those meetings? After the meeting and you've actually closed the client, that takes us on to taking payments, onboarding, and delivering results. Now for this particular step, it's super important that you have the right systems for this, as this will basically determine how long your clients stay on for. Not only that, but when you close the client for like $2,500 a month or something like that, you want to obviously look professional. So I recommend you have a automated onboarding process. I also recommend you use Stripe hooked up with a software called symbolinvoices.io. So if you don't have a Stripe account, definitely go and set up a Stripe account. No, you don't need to have a registered business in order to set up a Stripe account. You can literally just say that you're a sole trader or a sole proprietor, I believe it's called in the US. And then what you can do is then hook up your Stripe account with Simple Invoices. It's super easy to do. You literally just click one button and that allows you to take automatic monthly payments. I always recommend you auto bill your clients each and every month. Now for onboarding, like I said, I recommend you use a simple 5 to 7 step video series on Vimeo as a free automated way to set expectations, explain what your client needs, explain what you need from them as well, and explain exactly what's going to be included and not included in your services, as well as what's going to happen next. Now, service delivery basically means, delivering the service. It kind of sounds like what it is on a tin, can actually be outsourced. Now, I actually recommend you outsource or even get a team member because this is a real business, guys. This is genuinely a real business. I know it's SMMA makes it sound like it's not a real business, but this is genuinely a real business. Call it an agency or a digital marketing agency if you want to. It's basically the same thing, but this is a real business. So I recommend you actually outsource or build your team from the very beginning so that you don't have to, service your clients yourself. But if you want to, you can obviously service your clients yourself, especially if you're good as well. So that leads us on to team building and management. Now, this is when you really understand that this is a real business model and you are a real business owner at this point. So if you want to become a real business owner, with that being said, and not just a glorified freelancer, I recommend you start building your team directly after this video. I'm not even joking. Like, build your team from the moment you start. Now, this is actually going to lead to a triple win situation. It's a win-win-win situation. The reason being is because your client's going to win because they're getting awesome results from an actual expert. So if you hire, for example, a top rated like freelance, like a media buyer, and you hire them onto your team and they work for your team and they actually deliver results for you and your clients, what's going to happen is your clients are going to be super happy with you and your agency because you have an actual expert, an actual professional, this is, delivering results for them. And so your client's going to be super happy with the results they are actually able to deliver. So that's one win right there. You yourself win because you're not tied to your business time-wise, and you free yourself from, for example, if you go close 10 clients right now, awesome, you've made a bunch of money, but now your time's completely tied because you have to go and service those 10 clients yourself, which means you've not really won. I mean, you've won financially, but time-wise, you've not really won. And I don't know about you, but I want to be a real business owner where I have location freedom, time freedom, and financial freedom. So when you outsource or build a real team member, guys, and get them to deliver results, you actually win because you free up your time, which is a win for you because obviously you're getting free time back. And then also your team member who's actually delivering the results win as well because they're getting paid to do what they love, which is run ads or build social media accounts. So it's a win-win-win situation. Everybody wins, everybody eats. So I personally believe that you should ensure this. So I want you to make sure that you at least know your service well enough to actually sell it. So what I recommend, guys, is you actually spend at least 10 to 20 minutes watching all the videos on YouTube you can find about how to get better at your service, just so that you can actually go out understand it, speak the language to clients, and show them that you know what you're talking about. So I'm not just sat here talking and saying, you know, oh, just go and outsource straight away without learning this sort of stuff. No, I genuinely believe you should learn your service and learn it well enough. I don't believe you should become an expert at it and spend 6 months learning Facebook ads and have 0 clients and staying broke in your bedroom. I'd rather you go and get a client after 20 hours of knowledge and then have your media buyer teach you how to run real Facebook ads and stuff like that. So what's needed to start? So albeit, yes, you can start an agency for completely free. Just know it's 100% going to absolutely suck, because like if you can't actually use money to build your business, you're going to have to use a whole lot of time and sweat, what I call sweat equity. But yes, if we're going to just, you know, settle the argument here, yes, technically you can actually start a social media marketing agency with just an email and for completely free. But again, it's going to cost you a whole lot of time and it's going to be extremely tedious. It's going to be an absolute headache and you're probably going to hate it 100%. I personally hated it at the beginning when I was doing everything myself, like prospecting, outreach, trying to then talk to clients, trying to then deliver the services. Trust me, it's way too much to handle and it's very tedious, time consuming, and you're probably going to hate it, like I said. Now, no gurus are actually going to tell you this. I'm just going to lay it out straight flat. You're probably going to fucking hate it if you try to build an agency for completely free on yourself. Yes, you're definitely going to hate it, in fact. If you're on a shoestring budget, here's what I actually recommend. Yes, you can go out and start a social media marketing agency with like a dinky old like a Gmail account, such as like yourname@gmail.com, which probably will not warrant any great results. It probably take you a long time to even get a client or even a reply back. If you're using a Gmail account, no one's going to take you seriously because you don't have a registered domain. You don't look professional. So if you're on a shoestring budget, here's what I recommend. Number one, make sure you go and get Acuity scheduling. Now, when you can see that little asterisk on the bullet points, that basically means I highly recommend those no matter how much they cost. As in, the other ones that don't have asterisks next to them, you can kind of get away with not using them, but the ones with asterisks, I highly recommend you use these because they're gonna make your life so much easier. So Acuity scheduling, this is a calendar software that allows you to take meetings, send over your calendar and help people book in. It also sends automatic email reminders to people who have booked in a call with you so that you don't have to remember to follow up with them and remind them about your call. So that actually increases your show up rate, because sometimes when people book a meeting with you, if you didn't have this software, you'd have to kind of like manually go back and forth with them, which is unprofessional, looking for times, and you know, if they're in a different time zone to you, you have to convert that into your time zone. Super unprofessional. Whereas if you just send over a calendar link using Acuity scheduling, they can book in any time that suits them. It automatically converts the time zone. It goes into your iCalendar on your iPhone or your Google Calendar or whatever calendar software you use. And it's basically very organized, very streamlined. And it also sends out automatic reminders to them so that they turn up on time, on the right day at the right time. And then Zoom. Zoom is an online meeting platform. I'm pretty sure you may have heard of Zoom now. It's getting very, very, very popular. It's basically like the better version of Skype. People don't actually need to create an account like Skype and then add each other, which is why I love Zoom. And then what you want to do is with your Zoom account, unique meeting room link, and you put them into your email reminders of your Acuity scheduling software so that when people book in a meeting with you, it will say the time, the date, and the location will actually be your link to your Zoom meeting. When people then want to actually join the actual meeting that you just got, they click the link and you can take online meetings. This is how you take online meetings. So Lemlist, this is something I recommend you get, but you don't have to get this. You can actually start with manually sending out emails and stuff like that, as long as you are good at remembering when you need to follow up with certain people. So if you're gonna not use Lemlist, you're probably gonna need to use a CRM system, or make sure you're just, you know, making sure you're keeping track of who needs to be emailed again, because if you just send one email to one business owner one time, you're probably not going to get a response. It's the follow-up that makes you a lot of money. So Lemlist is basically an automated email software, which basically allows you to send out a bunch of emails and stuff like that on blast. Now, I know a lot of you are just going to skip this. You're going to exit out of this video and you're going to go and set up Lemlist and just blast a whole bunch of businesses from some scraped leads without watching my previous videos on this. So do not do that, because it never works. You always want to make sure you personalize your emails, and I'm actually be showing you exactly how you do that. So automated software, definitely get that. It's $29.99 though. You don't have to get that if you don't want to. Now, professional domain from Google, I highly recommend this. So a professional domain would be like montel@montelgordon.com or yourname@yourdomain.com. And that's $12 a year. Then I want you to also go and get G Suite. This is highly recommended. G Suite is the actual email provider from Google. So you have to buy a domain, then you have to buy G Suite. G Suite again is the email domain, which would be, you know, montel@montelgordon.com. Now I kind of messed up before. I said a professional domain. A professional domain is basically like your website name. Your email domain is your actual email that's linked to that website. So it'd be, let's say your agency name is like ABC Agency. your email domain then, so that would be $12 a year, but then your email domain with G Suite would be your name at abcagency.com, and that's $6 a month. Highly recommend it because it comes with Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Slides, all that sort of stuff. Also, what I want you to go and get, but you don't actually need to pay for this until you close a client, which is Simple Invoices. Simple Invoices is $10 a month. It's a invoicing software. It does what it says on the tin. It basically sends over simple invoices. It allows you to do auto payments as well, which is what I recommended earlier. And then you got Snowvio. Snowvio is completely free. You can actually keep creating like Gmail accounts and just using it whenever you run out of credits, but it's allowed you to help. It basically helps you find emails on the website. So go and get Snowvio. It's better than Hunter.io if you're familiar with that. And then Slack for communications. I have the free plan. Still never played for Slack. Slack is for client communication. That's completely free. Now, if we take a look at the bottom here, that's actually a total of $62 per month. That's for everything I've just put on the slide. However, if you look below that, there's another total with the asterisk, and that's just everything that has an asterisk next to it, which is like your bare minimum of what you should be definitely paying for. And again, you can take a look what I put, which is the Acuity scheduling, your professional domain, your G Suite, and that's basically it. So that's $22 per month. Now, if you are on a slightly better budget, here's what I recommend. Acuity scheduling, Zoom, Lemnis, a professional domain, G Suite, Simple Invoices, Snowvio, Slack. I also recommend you get a lead sourcer that basically helps you find leads, qualifies them, and saves you hundreds of hours of time. You can literally pay somebody on Upwork for this, $50 for like 1,000 leads. And if you do the maths on that, and however many, if you just write like 20 emails a day or something like that, you actually only need to pay like 25. It actually only like works out to be like $25 a month based on the maths. So I also recommend you get a first line writer, or which is like a VA, which basically this is a person that writes 20 personalized emails for you a day. It's just the first lines of that a day, and you can pay them like $5 an hour for like 2 hours a day, which works out to be $200 a month. And then if you're going to build a case study funnel, which is like a video explaining your agency services, on ClickFunnels, that's going to cost you $97 per month, but I actually recommend you use WordPress for something like this when you're not super advanced, and you can get that for $95 a year instead of $97 a month. So if you take the total of all this I've just said on the screen, that's a total of $296 per month, which is extremely cheap, which is why the profit margins are extremely good with a social media marketing agency. So here's what you definitely do not need, because I see a lot of people worried about building a fancy website. You don't need a fancy website unless you have a funnel. I don't recommend websites, I recommend funnels. Don't build a website. A funnel is different. A funnel actually has actionable steps that has some sort of end goal. A website is just like a business card. It's pretty much useless. It's just like a online business card. So what you also don't need is a degree. I know people think, I don't know why, but people think you need some sort of degree in marketing. A degree in marketing is probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I know the person who even created that degree, I don't even think they understand how quick marketing moves these days. For example, if you go to look at Facebook ads like 3 months ago, it's completely changed throughout until now, which is January, and all because of, I'll give you a real life example. The iOS 14 update Apple's just released on blocking certain like pixels and stuff like that, and tracking and stuff like that. That's already had an effect on marketing. So by the time a marketing degree curriculum gone through like its testing and then been approved by like the educational institutions and then put forth into the actual curriculum of a school or a university, by that time everything in that course will basically be irrelevant because everything's moving so fast. So what you also don't need is a registered business unless you are in the US. Again, this is not like legal advice, but I think like an LLC will suffice in the US. Now, the reason why I say that you don't need a registered business in the UK is because you can just operate as a sole trader or a sole proprietor, I believe it's called. So don't worry about having a registered business unless you're in the US, where you can basically get sued just for sneezing. I've heard some real horror stories in the US on like people just being sued for all sorts of stupid stuff. What you also don't need are business cards. Absolutely stupid. You don't need an office. You don't need a fancy business name. Literally name your agency your first name, last name, media, or first name, last name, consulting. Like literally don't spend more than 10 minutes on that. You can always change your business name later on. And you definitely don't need to worry about tax structure or like offshore accounts, as long as you are basically registered for like self-assessment here in the UK. That's basically here in the UK, and you want to make sure that you're obviously just declaring that you're making some sort of income to the government. And you definitely don't need to spend 6 months, and this is the key right here, guys. I want you to make sure you listen to this one. You definitely do not need to spend 6 months learning Facebook ads or social media marketing. You definitely don't need to do that. So what niche should you actually get into? So first of all, what exactly is a niche? Well, I don't actually know the actual definition. So if you Google what a niche is, I believe it's going to say something on the lines of a group of people that basically share certain characteristics and commonalities. So basically what you can actually do in niche, in SMMA, is actually niche down via the industry that you're in, which is what I recommend you do. So here are some of the most popular sorts of niches that you can actually get into. So we've got gym businesses, we've got restaurants, we've got the car dealership niche, we've got the dental practice niche, we've got real estate niche, we've got accounting businesses, law firms, cosmetic businesses, tattoo parlors, barbershops, salons, etc., etc. Basically, these are all local businesses where you're going to be doing basically local lead generation for them. Now, like I just said, these are traditional businesses, or what you call the local lead gen niche here in the SMMA community. We call them local lead gen niche. Basically what you're doing for these businesses are not generating them sales, you're actually generating them leads. So most of these businesses, like I said, are local lead gen clients, or niche is that's a local lead gen niche. Now what I've noticed, and if you're smart, you'll also notice this as well, or even if you just do just a quick Google search, or even if you just live if you just actually look out your window, should I say, most of these local lead gen like businesses, or even traditional business, are actually closing down, or even closed down right now due to the whole pandemic. So this pandemic has actually shown me, and it should show you as well as a business owner, that if you're going to start a social media marketing agency, you may as well start in the e-commerce niche if you want unlimited reliability. Because think about it, you can't really shut down an online business unless you take away like their factories or something like that, or you shut down their factories, which is probably not going to happen unless something extremely drastic happens. Or if they have their products in-house, they don't need to worry about that anyway. Or if like their business relies on some sort of shipping and like airplanes just like start falling out of the sky. Or if the internet basically goes down. And if the internet basically goes down, we've probably got way more problems than starting your business. So for me, I just believe that if you jump into the e-commerce industry or niche, you're gonna have unlimited reliability. Because again, if you are trying to go after local lead gen niches and businesses, they're probably gonna be closed. And who's to say something like COVID-19 won't happen again when it's all over? And basically also, who said that like everything's gonna go back to normal once the virus subsides and they kind of reopen stuff? For me, this is just a clear indication that I should definitely be focusing my energy on helping online businesses, and that's what I've basically transitioned from. I used to be in like the real estate niche, now I'm focusing more on the e-commerce niche and transitioning into that over a 6 to 12 month period. So the e-commerce niche, why on earth would we go for the e-commerce niche? So as you can see on the left hand side, I've just pulled up an Oberlo screenshot, and the source is from emarketer.com, so you can actually go check the source. But as you can see, global e-commerce sales have actually grown continuously and healthily over like a 5 to 6 year period. I believe that's a 6 year period. So again, on the flip side, the e-commerce, while all other businesses are shutting down, on the flip side, the e-commerce market is actually expected to grow to a global net worth of 6.542 trillion in sales by 2023. That's trillion with a T. I don't think you understand that just that 0.5 is literally $500 million. It's absolutely ridiculous. As you can see, the whole market's actually growing whilst all the traditional businesses are basically struggling. So why on earth would you start a business in like a struggling market when you can actually go and find a market that's basically prospering and thriving and actually growing year on year? So me personally as well, I actually genuinely think that this growth is going to be much higher. I don't know when this actual research was done, but I actually believe, like I said as well, the whole COVID thing has actually pushed us like 5 years in advance, and advances 5 years in terms of online business and doing stuff online by like 5 years in just 1 year. So I personally think that the growth is actually going to be much greater than this, all due to COVID. So a question to you, do you smell a trend yet? Surely you're smelling this trend. So I'm going to give you some more reasons for the e-commerce niche. I'm not actually trying to sell you on this. I'm just trying to show you that like what I'm doing, what I found, the research I've come across, and I'm just going to lay out some facts for you real quick. So, reasons for the e-commerce niche. You see, when you run ads for an e-commerce business, you are directly responsible. This could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. I'm not just going to say it's all good and whatnot, but as you can see, you are directly responsible for a client's sales via Facebook and Instagram ads. So that basically means if you run good ads, you're going to see good results that are clear cut. So you can see, for example, with the e-commerce niche, if you spend 10K on ads and you bring them back 60K on ads, you've just made them a profit of 50 grand. So you can actually see a clear cut return on investment month on month. which is what you call your website purchase conversion value. So that can actually be seen very, very clearly. And if a client ever tries to kind of like act up and be like, oh, your service is not great, you can literally pull up the Facebook Business Ads Manager account and their ad account, and you can literally say, what the fuck are you talking about? We spent 10K this month and we brought you back 60K, we made you a profit of 50K this month. How are you not happy with that? So with the local lead gen niche, this is different though. With leads, you can't actually directly track it. You can slightly do it, but it's very, very difficult to do. You actually have to ask the person where they found out about your business and stuff like that. And some people can lie and some people could just not fill out your surveys or something like that. But you can't actually really like directly correlate leads to profit generated. You can't actually track that down to the pence and penny like you can when it comes to e-commerce businesses running ads for them. Also, clients are already used to operating online. You see, when it comes to e-commerce clients, they're already used to operating online. So they're actually used to stuff like having Zoom calls, working with people remotely, and they're already used to completing payments online and signing stuff like e-contracts, which are already online as well. And e-commerce clients, they already know the value of advertising and social media, and thus are continuously trying to find more and more ways to get qualified traffic to their websites, because that's the aim of the game with e-commerce businesses, getting quality traffic that are going to buy their products. So they know that doing some form of marketing, Facebook ads, advertising, that sort of stuff is important for their business. Whereas traditional businesses kind of still see Facebook and Instagram as like kind of like gimmicks, if you will, where you basically go to chill out and socialize with family and friends and talk about Justin Bieber videos and Taylor Swift videos. So it's actually much easier to sell e-commerce business owners on the idea of running Facebook ads if you're actually good at what you're doing. So with e-commerce businesses as well, you can actually charge way higher retainers. I have not seen anybody charge, for example, like a 10K plus per month deal with just one single local lead gen business, just because most of the businesses have like local lead gen businesses or even traditional niches such as gym businesses. They have ridiculous overheads such as like equipment costs. They have like premises costs, which obviously they have to have like some sort of store. Restaurants have to have like an actual restaurant. They've got a whole bunch of staff and stuff like that. So e-commerce businesses don't really have much costs apart from their COGS, which is obviously cost of goods sold. As most of the time, they don't even need offices or a bunch of staff or workplaces. They can use like automation and software to automate most of their stuff. So they have like a two-man team, like an e-commerce business can have all this automation installed on it for like, I don't know, $300, $500 a month or something like that. And they will have like the firepower of like a 20-man team, for example, because they can automate their emails and stuff like that. They don't need to really reply to customer responses. They can have like automation bots doing that for them and stuff like that. All of that sort of stuff helps them save on costs as well. Now, with e-commerce business as well, I've seen that you can actually charge performance fees. So what I mean by that is, let's say you close a client, for example, for $2,000 a month, and you then also sign them on a 10% kickback fee, which is what you call a ROAS deal or performance fee. You can call it whatever you want. And you help a client make an additional 100K revenue after spending 20K on ads. That basically means you brought them in a 80K profit. Now, if you were to just close them on your 2K per month deal and make them 80K profit, that's cool and all, but you've only made $2,000 from that client. So you've actually made him $80,000 and you've only made $2,000 back. However, if you said at the beginning of that deal that we're going to charge you $2,000 per month and we're going to incentivize ourselves to run better ads for you by signing a 10% kickback fee or performance fee, which basically allows you to take 10% of the profits you generate. Again, that's off the profits. So what you would have done and what you would have made in total was that initial $2,000, which is your flat retainer fee, plus $8,000 from the 80 grand profit, which is obviously 10% of the 8 grand profit that you've made. And that's just from one client. That's literally 10 grand from one client. As you can see, it starts pricing up very, very quickly and very nicely. So let's talk about pricing. How do you actually price your services? So for social media management, let's talk about that. Now, unfortunately, there's actually no formula for this. I've not actually seen a formula or anything like that. What you need to do in order to work this out is you'll need to work this out based on your expenses, such as if you have a team member in place, how much you basically want to make, etc., etc. So let me give you an example. If you want to make 10 grand a month from your agency, because I know that that's like the common kind of like response I get when I ask people where do you want to take your agency, they always say 10K a month. If you want to hit the 10K a month mark, which is obviously 6 figures, and you have a team member charging you $200 per client, that's basically managing and creating the content for you, because again, social media management is like, you know, creating social media posts and stuff like that. So if you charge $1,000 a month for this, then you know you're going to make roughly $800 per client. So what you then do is you take the $10,000, which is your goal figure, and you divide it by basically your lowest retainer, which is $800. you know you're going to need to close 13 clients until you make 10K profit per month. So what you need to do is figure out how many clients you want to take on, how much money you want to make per client, how much your costs are, and then reverse engineer how much you basically want to make, and do the maths backwards this way and reverse engineer it. So PS, just really quickly, I've personally seen people who are doing social media management charge anywhere from $500 per month to $2,500 per month. The most I've ever charged personally for social media management is $2,000 per month. Just for social media management, which was actually creating content for their Instagram, their Facebook, their LinkedIn, and their Twitter, it was actually Instagram, it was their LinkedIn and their Twitter. So that's all I was doing. So what I'm going to do for the Facebook ads for local lead generation, there is an actual formula for this, and I'm going to break that down right now in an older video. I'm going to use an older video because I explain it extremely well. So I'm going to cut to that right now so you can see the exact formula for actually pricing your services for local lead generation. Here's the pricing formula for paid traffic for local businesses. So guys, you want to take the average customer spend per visit in profit, or you want to take the average, monthly cost of a customer in profit as well. So what I mean by that is, whenever a person comes into a restaurant, for example, how much do they spend? And let's say it's £50 or $50. If they then spend $50, how much of that is actual profit to that business? So you need to ask them, okay, so if an average table value is £50 or $50, how much of that is actual genuine profit that you get to keep? So that's what I'm talking about here. Or for this per month section, I'm talking about, let's say it's a gym or like some sort of like a subscription based business where it's kind of like a monthly cost, like a gym. So you want to take the average gym cost, but actually find the actual profit. Then what you want to do is times that by the number of returns, or how many months they stay on for, and that will give you the yearly profit value. Now you want to take the yearly profit value and times it by how many years in total that customer stays with that business, and that gives you the lifetime profit value. Now what you want to do then is reverse engineer the whole process. So you want to take the whole process, as in you're running ads for this business, you're getting them leads, people are showing up, and then they're becoming customers. So you want to reverse that whole process. So typically here's what's going to happen if you're running ads for a local business. You're going to create some sort of offer and you're going to start running Facebook ads over on Facebook, of course. Those people who are interested in this offer here, certain amount of people who see that are then going to be interested and become leads of that business. You're going to generate leads. Out of those leads, only a certain amount of people are actually going to show up to the actual gym to redeem their 3-day pass or 7-day pass. Out of those people who actually show up to the gym and actually do the 7 days or 3-day pass are going to become customers. Now, I like to use very conservative numbers when I'm reverse engineering this process here. So it's the ad offer leads to show up to customers. So let's say out of 10,000 people that see this ad, 100 people then become leads. So 100 people put in their details and become leads to redeem this offer. Out of those 100 people, 20% of them actually show up to the business and actually walk through the physical doors and go to the gym and redeem their little 7-day free pass basically. So let's say that 20 people show up to the actual business, and out of those 20 people, 30% of them actually turn out to be long-term customers. Now that means you're going to generate around 6 customers. Now what you want to do is you want to take the number of customers you've generated, which is going to be 6 in this particular case. You then times it by the lifetime profit value, and that's going to give you the total profit value. So what you're going to do then is take the total profit value and take away the cost per acquisition, and that's going to give you the gross profit. You're then going to take the gross profit and divide it by 2, and that's going to equal your service price. Now let me show you a full example, because that might sound confusing to you or something like that, but I just want to break it down so you guys can see exactly how this works out. So talk about Facebook ads for e-commerce. Now, unfortunately, sorry to disappoint you, but there's no formula for this whatsoever. Like, this is literally based upon your pricing for this, is like offering Facebook ads to e-commerce businesses. This is solely priced and based upon the value you can actually bring for a business. Literal gut instinct actually comes into place here as well. You also want to factor in what's a fair deal based on the results you can actually bring for this business, based on what you've actually broken down number wise in their back end, figuring out and working out their cost of goods, their break-even ROAS, their customer acquisition costs, and their profit margins. And again, sorry to disappoint you, but there's not actually there's not actually a formula to basically break this down. If you look at any quote unquote guru in the e-commerce space, there's just not a way to actually price this. You actually obviously are going to price very differently based on businesses, however big or small they are. For example, if you are going to if you're going to work with a client that's, spending 20 grand on Instagram ads or Facebook ads, for example, a month, then you obviously know you can probably charge them around 5-6K for that, because that's quite a hefty amount to deal with. So for example, if you're working with a business who's already making multiple six figures, you're going to charge them very differently to a business that's only just hitting that 6-figure mark. Again, if you're working with a business and then, their average ad spend is like 20 grand a month or something like that, you probably can easily charge 5-6 grand or something like that, flat fee plus a 10% ROAS deal. Whereas if you're working with a business that's only making or even spending like 5 to 10 grand on ads, you probably are going to only be able to charge like 2 to 3 grand, 4 grand at that, the max, plus maybe a 10% ROAS deal. If you're cheeky, you can get away with it. But the main takeaway on this is you're going to price your services based on value, not the time it's going to take you to run the ads. And I'll give you a cool little metaphor / story on this. For example, if you was to work with Apple and you're a developer, like a website developer, and you spot an error on Apple's website, if you literally help them boost their revenue, or their profit, should I say, by 0.001%, you're literally going to be able to charge at least 10 grand for that, even if that only takes you 5 seconds to do, just because you're going to write one line of code and fix their problem. You could easily charge 10 grand, 20 grand for that if you're going to boost their profit by like a couple million a year, because again, they're $1 trillion company. How do you do outreach? So now that we've got our pricing down, what services to offer, so we've got social media management stuff, we've got Facebook ad stuff, how to price them, gone through all of that sort of stuff. How do you actually reach out to clients to actually sell your services? So outreach, if you're wondering, just basically means reaching out. Now the aim of outreach is to convince a business owner into having a meeting with you so that you can get in front of them, diagnose their current situation, and sell your services as the solution to their problems. Outreach is not for selling your services only in the meeting. So don't write stupid long outreach messages trying to sell your services right there and then and telling them your price and all that sort of stuff. All you're doing is trying to get them to book in a meeting so you can do that live on a call. Now, here's a few outreach tips. What I want you to do is I want you to keep your outreach messages short, especially if you're using text-based outreach, such as emails, Facebook messages, Instagram messages, just because people don't have the time to read lengthy emails. Not only that, but it's super annoying when you get a lengthy, long-ass email. Like, get to the point, keep it concise. These are business owners, they're very busy, so keep it short, keep it sweet. So what you also want to do is you want to keep the whole thing readable within 15 to 18 seconds for the reasons I've literally just stated. You always want to personalize your outreach no matter what as well. Scripted templates never work. I've found this, it just never works. I literally believed in cold emails didn't work, which by the way, they do. I just sucked at them. And I even said that back in the day. So never use scripted templates. They never work, like I said. They can actually work, but only if you're sending like 500 plus of them a day, which I don't recommend at all. But then like at that point, like pretty much fucking anything will work if you're sending like 500 emails a day. So what I also recommend you do is include a 1-sentence case study. Now, if you don't have any case studies or anything like that, you can actually use your like a team members. So if you got a team member, a media buyer, for example, who's run some great Instagram ads or something like that, or Facebook ads, you can actually use that. If again, this you will have to speak to them about and whatnot. For me, I had to put a contract in place with my media buyer to allow me to use his results to actually leverage, present them to clients and stuff like that, and use them to call clients and stuff like that. What you can do is you can actually use your team members' past results to actually convince clients that you obviously know what you're doing if you don't have any whatsoever. And yes, it's ethical, and yes, it's legal, because they are part of your agency at that point if you build a proper team. Also guys, do not include links on your first touch point. So your first touch point is when you just find a business and you send them the initial email. You've never spoken to them before. Don't include links in that, because that immediately screams, I'm trying to sell you something here, and that's actually going to put people off. What I also don't want you to do is use trigger words such as marketing agency, or like take your business to new heights, or like scaling your business from, I don't know, like 1,000 in sales to 10,000. Don't use super salesy trigger words like that, because that actually puts business owners off. And don't use language like, for example, like 10x your growth in your subject lines, because again, that's super cliche, super like salesy, and you can actually get marked as spam as well if you keep doing that sort of stuff. And getting marked as spam is not good for your email health. Also, I didn't mention, actually put this on this particular tip. Whenever you have a call to action is saying, hey, book a free call with me, or when are you free for a quick 15-minute call? That would be a call to action, because you're calling them to take some sort of action. That's what a call to action is. So call to action short for is CTA. CTA is short for call to action. Make sure when you create your CTA in your email, it's short, sweet, It's very precise, and you only have one CTA per email. Don't be saying, look at this case study and then booking a call here and then check out my website as well. Don't do that sort of stuff. That's free CTAs right there. You don't want to do that. You just want one clear-cut CTA. So what is the best outreach method? I know for a fact you guys are searching for the best outreach method, and you're also searching for the best niche. Those are the two most common things I hear time and time again within the agency space. Now, this is going to be another disappointment to you guys. I myself, honestly, have been looking for the quote unquote best outreach method and the best scripts to use, but they simply just don't exist. There is no magic script. There is no magic outreach method. What you have to do is you have to do the research into what the niche particularly uses on a day-to-day basis and leverage that method to get in front of them. For example, e-commerce business owners are notorious for checking their emails multiple times a day, especially first thing in the morning. I actually literally Google what is it like to be an e-commerce business owner, and you can literally find like what their average schedule is, and you can genuinely see like a whole bunch of like I went and visited like forums where like e-commerce business owners were talking amongst each other, and they were sharing like their daily schedules and stuff like that. And what they do is they wake up early. They're normally early risers, and when they wake up early, they check their emails like first thing in the day, just to check if they've got like orders and stuff like that they need to fulfill, and like team emails and stuff like that, because they normally have a team that they manage. So I found that they check their emails religiously multiple times throughout the day, especially first thing in the morning. I've also found, guys, as well, that e-commerce business owners, for example, they don't necessarily need offices to operate or run their business, and they typically only have like a customer support number, which, by the way, is probably outsourced to some sort of automated software or to someone else in like a developing country or something like that. This basically means that leveraging cold emails would be better than doing cold calls for the e-commerce niche, because again, they check their emails. They don't really have like a mobile phone number you can actually call. However, for a niche like the car dealership niche or the real estate niche, they are constantly sat by their phones in their office waiting for like deals to come through. And some of them are even doing cold calls themselves. For example, estate agents definitely do a lot of cold calls themselves. Again, I Googled this and actually seen that they do, they have like a morning meeting. They then go out there and do like door-to-door sales. They also do like cold calls and stuff like that. Religiously. So, and that's especially in smaller businesses as well. So you have a really good shot of like reaching the business owner directly via a quick call if you're in those particular niches. But for example, trying to cold call a doctor or a dentist on the other end is literally like trying to eat some cacti with warm seawater. Like, no joke, it fucking sucks. I literally did 300 cold calls to just dentistries around my like local area and like the couple cities around me and stuff like that, and they're always in surgery. It's always the gatekeeper picking up saying, yeah, the doctor's in surgery or they're busy. So I believe that like using cold emails or even LinkedIn as a professional way to connect with them would probably be your best bet if you're going to be contacting doctors or dentists. But again, guys, please remember the whole aim of this slide here is to make sure that you guys remember that each niche is different, and you're going to need to test to see which one works best for you. And you're also going to do a lot of research, into your particular niche, how they operate, what their routines are, and what they use on a day-to-day basis in their business, so that you can actually get in front of the actual business owner, not the gatekeeper. So let's talk about choosing your weapon of outreach. So I'm just going to list off a couple of methods of outreach. So obviously we have cold calling, we have cold emails, we have Loom audits, which is basically, if you're not familiar with Loom is like a video recording software that allows, it's like a Google Chrome extension that allows you to record your screen and stuff like that. And the audit is basically just going and recording the business's like social media accounts and stuff like that, and showing them what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and what you can basically help them with. So that's what an audit is. You can also do LinkedIn to connect with professionals. Instagram as well, you can use that for outreach. Facebook, you can use for outreach. Direct mail, which is literally like sending old traditional letterbox mails, as in you go and send that in the post, and you can get clients like that. I've heard of people getting clients like that. Walk-ins, basically walking into, events. You can walk into a business if they're open. Again, this is probably not really relevant for the time we're in right now, but you can also, but yes, traditionally, like 2 years ago, this was very popular, like doing walk-ins. So like literally walking into the barber shop or like a restaurant and asking them if they need help with their marketing. You can also go to network events where business owners basically gather and talk about business. You can tell them that you're an agency owner and you help a specific niche to achieve a specific result using your services. So you can also use Upwork, stuff like freelance websites. So I believe you can use like upwork.com, which is a very great website. I highly recommend you use Upwork, and you can use other freelance websites as well, like eGuru. I think one is. Don't quote me on that. I'm not really using the other freelance websites. I just found that Upwork's the best. So guys, just for argument's sake, if I genuinely had to pick which outreach method is the best, I genuinely would say, first of all, there is no best outreach method, but I genuinely would stick to using Upwork, although it's not free. For example, using Upwork is a freelance website, if you're not familiar with it, and it costs me £140 per month on these things called connects. Connects are what allow you to apply to jobs. Now, the reasons for why I say that I recommend using Upwork, if I just had to say one, just out of the sheer like argument's sake, I just see it as like, look, on Upwork, you have clients that basically qualify themselves. They literally go out of their way to create a client account, post a job out. That basically means they're warm to the idea of hiring somebody for their social media. There's no need to find leads or qualify them, as they're basically in a list format for you on the platform. Clients are at the end of the sales funnel, as in with the traditional outreach methods, you need to go and find businesses. You need to then qualify them based on what they look like, how they look like they're operating online, if they can afford your services. There's certain indicators like that we've mentioned previously in this video that indicate whether they're going to be ready to buy and if they can even afford to. With Upwork, that it eliminates all of that, because clients are literally at the end of the sales funnel. They're posting out jobs saying, I want to hire somebody, and they're basically ready to buy right there and then. So there's no guessing games here. So clients are 100% looking for social media managers / Facebook ads people to hire. So this basically eliminates all the other guessing games, such as trying to qualify businesses or even find leads. And the leads literally couldn't get any warmer than these, because they're literally at the end of the sales cycle, literally posting out a job saying, I want to hire. So from what I've seen personally, and I can genuinely say this hand on my heart, from what I've seen, this is the quickest and easiest way to get a client, bar none. But with that being said, what about your free options? Here are your free options. Cold email is a very, very great tip, because everybody has an email. Think about it. If you're gonna do like Facebook outreach, think about it. In order to even sign up to Facebook, you need an email address to even sign up to that. If you want to sign up to LinkedIn, you have to create an email address in order to even create a LinkedIn address. So everybody has an email address. People say that email's dead. Even I was like, cold emails don't work at one point, but trust me, cold emails do work. So here's a few tips for your cold emails and your cold email game. Make sure you use a G Suite email and not a Gmail email. So the difference is basically, a G Suite email would be like your first name at your own domain.com, because it looks professional. You want to use that because it makes you look like a serious business owner. You don't want to use a Gmail, which is your first name at gmail.com. So like Montel at gmail.com. That is not professional, and it's going to be extremely hard to get a client that way, because they're just not going to respond to you, because you just don't look serious. But yes, you can use a free Gmail account, but I don't recommend it. So yes, this is not technically free, because it costs you $6 per month for G Suite and $12 a year just for your domain. So it costs you like $7 a month if you really work it out, if you want to work it out in a monthly figure, because $12 divided by 12 months is $1, of course. What I recommend as well is do not use your agency's website as your email domain. So that's your outreach stuff. So what I mean by that is, if you have an agency website such as abcagency.com, don't use your first name at abcagency.com for your cold outreach. What you would do instead is go and buy another domain. Yes, this means you're going to be buying two domains, one for your agency website and one for your cold outreach. Now, I get a lot of people asking me, why on earth would you buy two if I already have one? Well, because if you have an agency website, right, which is abcagency.com, and you use that for cold outreach, you are eventually going to ruin that domain, because you're going to get marked as spam, because you're probably going to suck at cold emails, and you're going to ruin your agency website because that domain is going to get ruined. So that means you're going to have to then create a new domain, move your whole entire website to a new domain, which is extremely tedious and time consuming to do. So I wouldn't recommend you do that. So don't ruin your website by using that domain as an cold outreach domain. So what you do is you use one domain for your website, and then you buy a second domain, for example, abcagency.net.ent. So .net, that would be a new domain, but it's still pretty much the same name as your website, but you would use the .net version now as your email domain to actually send out cold emails, so you can burn that out without having to worry about your website domain actually getting ruined. So you want to make sure that you ensure that the emails you're obviously sending to are valid, so you don't get marked as spam. You want to make sure you also set up your DKIM and your DMARC records. You want to send at least 5 emails to one person, as in you want to make sure you send an initial email and then 4 follow-up emails, because it takes at least 5 to 12 touch points to actually get someone to actually consider buying, and 5 emails is classed as 5 touch points. And you want to make sure that you personalize each email you send out. Now, emails are going to take you a while to master. This is something, again, that the gurus will not tell you. Emails itself is a skill. Writing good emails is a highly profitable skill that will take you a while to master. So what I want you to do, and what I recommend you do, is spend at least 3 months trying to master this skill, because this is probably the most important task bar none until you get a client. So what you want to do is just spend a whole bunch of time just mastering cold email and testing different things out to see what works and what does not, because that's going to bring you the most profit, because that's how you go and get meetings, and meetings are how you go and get clients. So personalizing your first lines, here's a little tip for you guys. Here's how you personalize your first lines. So this is not, I repeat, this is not a personalized first line. Saying stuff like this: "Hi John, I just came across," and I'm just gonna put journal clothing, just like a fake business I just made up. So just bear with me here. So if I say to John, and I reach out to John and I go, "Hey John, I just came across journal clothing on Google whilst looking for quality men's clothing brands and seen you were the owner of this business." That is not a personalized first line. I know you think it's personalized because you're mentioning the business owner's name and his company name, but business owners know what a merge tag is. A merge tag is where you have an Excel sheet with columns in it, and each column is a different name, and you have an automated software that basically pulls in each name of that business as it goes down the line. So this is not personalized because you can easily switch out the words John and journal clothing to a different clothing brand name and a different name such as Mark. So you can literally put, "Hey Mark, I just came across MX clothing on Google whilst looking for quality men's clothing brands," and it would still make sense. So that's not a personalized first line. This is a personalized first line. "Hey John, I just checked out the podcast interview you had with Ben Tiller on how you and your wife Hannah founded Journal Clothing from your garage back in 2017. Love the point you made about being disciplined as an entrepreneur." This is very personalized because you've mentioned, what you call name dropped the interview podcast he's done with a person called Ben Tiller. You've also name dropped his wife. You also listen to the podcast and you can actually see that he said that he started Journal Clothing from his garage, and then you've also dated that, which was back in 2017. Then you also brought up a point that he made in the podcast, saying that, "I love the point that you made about being disciplined as an entrepreneur." That's way personal, way more personalized, because you can't then just change out the name John to Max and send that to Max and make the same thing, because Max will not have an interview with Ben Tiller, and his wife won't be called Hannah, and his clothing brand won't be called Journal Clothing, and he won't have started his business back in January, back in 2007, and he wouldn't have made the point about being disciplined as an entrepreneur. That is extremely personalized. And if you were to write a personalized email to me, you would say something like, "Hey Montel, I just checked out the whole entire video you did on how to start a social media marketing agency in 2021 as a beginner. I really love the point you made about personalizing first lines. I'm using your tip right here to actually reach out to you right now." That would be a really personalized line to me, especially. So let's talk about setting up meetings now, because the whole aim of your outreach, not to get you confused, is to set up meetings, and that's it. So setting up meetings, what I want you to do is spend the next 3 months mastering one form of outreach, such as emails. But for something like Upwork, you can basically get a client within the first 15 days. It took me 23 days to get my first client using Upwork, but out of those 23 days, because I wasn't working Saturdays and Sundays, it actually took me 15 working days to actually close that client. I think it might have been 15 to 17 working days or something like that. But basically I closed them within like 15 days. I believe 15 to 17 days, give or take 2 days. So what I mean by this, guys, is only focus on one form of outreach until you have mastered it. Don't be trying to do 10 different pieces of outreach until you've got a client. Once you've got a client, then you can start talking about doing what you call omni-channel follow-ups, which is like reaching out via email and also connecting with them via LinkedIn, and then sending them follow-up emails after your 5 touch points on email. That's more of an advanced strategy. What I want you to do right now is just spend 3 months, 90 days straight. Set a number. For example, I'm going to send 20 emails a day for 90 days straight without missing a single day. That's what I want you to do. That's how you really get good at this sort of stuff. And that's the key right there. If you rewind that, I've literally just given you the keys to a multi-7-figure business. I'm not even joking. So what I also want you to do is sign up to Acuity Scheduling and make sure you get a Zoom account so you can link in your meeting software and stuff like that, so they communicate with each other, so you can have automated meetings. I want you to also, like I said, just place your Zoom meeting room link into the emails of your Acuity Scheduling software. This is not your cold email outreach, by the way, not yet. What I mean by that is when people reply to your outreach, you're immediately then going to send them you're going to get them on a call by actually sending over your calendar link. So what I mean by this, guys, is when you sign up for Acuity Scheduling and Zoom will give you a unique meeting room link, like I mentioned before. You put that in your Acuity Scheduling automated follow-up emails for when someone books in a call with you. This link does not go in your cold emails. I know this is going to confuse people. So when you send a cold email out to somebody on the initial thing and they've not replied to you, initial message, you're not putting your links in there. I mentioned this before, I'm just going to mention it again. Do not put your links in there, because you only put your link in an email when they reply back to you, because you can get marked as spam if you're just sending out links, and it also looks like you're just screaming like I'm trying to sell you something here. So what I want you to do is make sure that when people reply to your outreach, you immediately try to, like I said, get them on a call by sending over your calendar link. Now, I know that some people wonder this, but never ever state your price. For example, if you reach out to somebody and they say, oh, how much do you charge? Don't ever state your price until the end of your sales call, as in you don't mention on email how much you're going to charge them or anything like that. You could literally say £2 and they'll still be like, yeah, that's too expensive, or $2, you'll be like, yeah, that's too expensive, because you have not built any value up yet. So when you sign up for Acuity Scheduling, it allows you to create questionnaire forms basically. And what you can do with this questionnaire form is make sure you're asking questions such as, what is your current monthly revenue? What's your goal figure? What's stopping you from achieving your goals? What's your current monthly marketing budget? That sort of stuff. And these are all to ensure that you qualify these businesses before you even jump on a call with them. So you can actually see who's booked in a call, when they booked it in for, and what their answers were to these questions. And I highly recommend you you get them to answer these questions and make them a requirement to even get on a call with you, because that's going to save you a lot of time and effort having to speak with business owners that are not qualified. So these are what you call pre-qualifying questions. So make sure you ask pre-qualifying questions. And that's how I do it. And again, use Zoom to host your meetings online, so you don't have to actually meet people in person. So you can actually close clients in other countries, and that's how you do it. So let's talk about closing clients on our next point. So for me, this is the most important part of a social media marketing agency, in my opinion, because you're going to really quickly come to the realization that social media marketing agency and building a successful one is pretty much about being able to set meetings, closing those meetings, and then keeping clients happy, and then rinsing and repeating that process. That's basically it. Setting up meetings, closing meetings, keeping clients happy. It's not about, learning Facebook ads and becoming a wizard at Facebook ads, or a wizard at like social media marketing or something like that. It's not about that. So, and if you're, a disbeliever in that, I just want to give you a quick reminder. The aim is to become a business owner, not the head chef at your own restaurant. And if you need a book to even qualify this, or even, back this up, go and get a book called The E-Myth. The E-Myth. I forgot who it's by again, but you can literally just go and Google it, and you'll come to the realization that your businesses, and this is a real business, by the way, just because it's called SMMA, it is a real business. You're going to see that this is a real business, and that if you're like the head chef at your business is reliant on you, and it's not really a business, it's just another 9-to-5 job. So closing clients, when it comes to closing clients and sales in SMMA, the most powerful method I have ever used, like literally ever, is what I like to call the bridge method. So I'm going to break down what the bridge method actually is. So this is going to get into some real deep stuff here, guys. Now, closing clients using the bridge method. What on earth is the bridge method? Here's what the bridge method is. So what you're going to do is you're going to identify a client's current situation, then you're going to identify their desired situation. Now, there's a gap in between where they're currently at and where they want to be. So their A point or their B point, or you can even call it their X point, which is like maybe they're at 10K a month and they want to get to 50K a month. That would be the two different points, and obviously there's a gap in between there. Now, what you want to do and what your job is on a sales call is to figure out what a client's current situation is, which is on the left here, and their desired situation, which is on the right. You then want to widen that gap by turning their basic needs and basic problems into explicit, needed and really needed what you call explicit desires, and then you want to position yourself and your services as a solution to their problems that's going to help them bridge the gap between where they're currently at and where they're actually desiring to be. So let's talk about the actual script then. So let's jump into part 1 of the script, which is setting the frame. So when you jump on a call with a business owner, what you're going to do is you're going to keep your small talk to a minimum, as business owners can smell fake rapport building skills from a mile away. So what you're going to do is spend 1 to 2 minutes max on small talk. You're just going to ask them stuff like, oh, where are you calling from? How's everything over there? How's the COVID thing? How are you enjoying your day? That sort of stuff. So then what you're going to do is ask John if he wants to dive straight into the call. He's going to say yes. Then what you're going to do is you're going to set the frame by saying, well, John, this is how my discovery calls usually go. I'm going to start off by asking you some questions about your business to figure out where you're at and where you're trying to go. And then at the end of the call, what I'm going to do is explain everything that I have to offer. And if you're a good fit for what I do, I'm going to offer you a chance to work with me one-on-one. And it's just a simple yes or no from you right there and then. How does that sound? He's going to say, yeah, it sounds great, Montel. Let's jump into it. And then you're going to jump straight into your call. But you absolutely must set the frame and take the lead of this call, or you may as well get off the call. I have looked at over 300 calls that I've pretty much done now. It's probably even 400, 500 calls now. Yeah, it's definitely over 500 calls actually, to be honest, at this point. So I also have my personal brand and stuff like that, and I have you guys booking calls with me as well. And I also have like automated systems going out, reaching out to clients and setting meetings with those. Also have the Upwork stuff. I've had hundreds on top of hundreds of calls. I wouldn't say I've had more than 500 though. I think I've had like 520 something. If I actually look in my Acuity scheduling client list, there's actually over 500 people in there. So I personally have seen when, and I actually record all my calls basically, I've seen that when I do not set the frame of a call, the call never goes my way, and I've never closed a sales call that I've not set the frame for. If you want to get a good book on why you need to set the frame, get a book called Pitch Anything by Oren Klaff. It's my favorite sales book. I highly recommend you get that. So step 2 is figuring out their motive. Simply, you're just going to ask them why they decided to carve out time out of their day to actually sit down and speak with you. So you're going to ask them what's the motivation behind booking in a call today. And what you're looking for here is a couple of golden answers, such as 1, they're struggling with their Facebook ads or social media. 2, they're either, things are just not working for them. Or 3, things are just moving slow. Or 4, they have some sort of problem within their business that they need to fix right now. So those are like the golden answers. Then what you're going to do is jump into step 3 of the actual sales script, which is figuring out their current situation. So their current situation is where they're at right now, as in what are they currently doing with their business, how is their business running, what sort of processes do they have in place. And you find out their current situation by using what you call situational questions, such as how long have you been in business, what are you currently doing for marketing, as in what are your current marketing strategies, what are your best selling products if they have multiple products, what are your profit margins looking like, what is your sales process / funnel, are you happy with it at the moment, and how big is your team, what platforms are making up the majority of your sales volume, do you know how much it's costing you to acquire a new customer, what does your current advertising strategy look like, what is your current ROAS, what is your your overheads, and what are your profit margins, and how much, and this is why I've underlined this one, this is the key question here, how much are you making with this business per month right now, because that is their current situation. In business, we measure like our KPI is obviously how much you're making per month with a business. So that's what we're going to be asking, because that's going to show us their desired situation, their current situation, so we can figure out where they're trying to go, and that gap in between, we're going to widen that. So this is how you figure out their current situation. How much are you making with this business per month? You need to get an actual figure here, a specific dollar amount. If you don't get that, you need to ask them for a specific dollar amount. If they continue to say they don't know, you're going to ask them to ballpark it. You need that figure. That takes you on to part 3, which is the second part, which is kind of like 3.2, I guess, or 3.1, which is figuring out their desired situation. Now, the desired situation is where they want to take their business, and you're going to find out that is the desired situation by using what you call future pacing type of questions. So for example, are you happy with your current monthly profit figures? They're going to say no, because we want to get into this sort of thing. You're going to also ask them, are you happy with the way your current ads are performing? Where do you want to take your business in the next 12 months? That should be underlined, because that's literally the question you need to answer. So where do you want to take your business in the next 12 months? That, like I said, should be underlined in bold, in italics. That is the big question right there. Where do you want to take your business in the next 12 months? That's how you figure out their desired situation, because they're going to say on this previous slide, they're at 10K per month. Then they're going to say, well, in 12 months time, we want to get that up to 80K per month. And then you're going to ask, why is 80K per month your focus right now? Why is it so important for you to scale to 80K? Why not just stay where you are at 10K? That's a successful 6-figure business right there. Why do you even want to scale to that 80K per month mark? Then you're going to ask them stuff like, how would things change operationally, John, if you could get to 80K a month? Now, I'm going through all these questions fast, right? But I want you to make sure you're speaking extremely slow. Use a lot of pauses for dramatic effect. Silence in sales means you're comfortable, and if you speak slowly, the more slowly you speak, the more comfortable you are. The faster you speak, the less comfortable you sound, and the more rushed you sound, the less you're going to close. The slower you speak, the more you are going to close. So make sure you speak slow. Whenever you ask a question, completely shut up, let them answer. I just wanted to put that out there. So part 4 of closing clients is getting them to release control. So once you've gone through and found their current situation, their desired situation, you're going to get them to release control. And what I mean by that is most business owners come into sales calls with a wall up. So what you're going to do is you're going to go, so John, you're currently making 10K per month right now with your business, and you want to scale that to 80K per month in 12 months time. So John, tell me, why do you personally think that you haven't hit that mark yet, that 80K per month mark yet? And then what you're going to do, guys, is you're going to go completely silent once you ask this question, and you're going to look out for these golden answers right here. which are, number one, they say stuff like they don't know how to, or they don't have like the ability to do it themselves. They want to get there faster. They can get there, but they just want to get there faster. 3, they don't have the time to train themselves or learn Facebook ads, or train their team and learn their team with and train their team with Facebook ads. Or number 4, they just want a proven system / roadmap / some sort of guidance, or somebody they can follow, that they can trust, that can basically do this for them, and they can follow basically, and have them as guidance. So those are pretty much like the 4 golden like answers when you ask this question that you want to look out for. Then what you want to do is define the gap in between where they're currently at, where they want to be at, and you want to gain permission to share what you have. So you're going to go, okay, so John, to summarize, right now your business is pulling in circa 10K a month, and your main issues are X, Y, and Z. So X, Y, and Z is obviously what they've talked to you about throughout the call. You can obviously identify their problems really easily, and I recommend you write them down. So you're going to go, okay, so John, just to summarize, right now your business is pulling in circa, around 10K per month right now, and your main issues are this thing, that thing, and this thing, and you want to take your business to that 80K per month mark in 12 months time, right? They're gonna say yes. Then you go, okay, well, in all transparency, John, it's clear to me that you've hit a little bit of a fork in the road. And what I mean by that, John, is if you keep doing, and then you basically insert what they're doing right now, so their current strategy on what they're basically doing for sales right now, which you should have found out in their current situation. So let's say they're doing influencer marketing. So after you've said this, you're going to jump into this, and you're going to go, okay, well, John, in all transparency, it's clear to me you've hit a bit of a fork in the road in terms of your business. Now, what I mean by that, John, is if you keep doing influencer shout outs, you're basically going to stay at 10K per month, right? He's going to say yes to that because it's a very common, easy, obvious question. Now, you then move on to the second question. So you go, so John, I'm pretty sure by now you've probably come to the realization yourself that if you continue to do what you're doing right now, you're probably going to get the exact same results. Or you can even word it like, John, now I'm pretty sure that you've come to the realization that you're going to have to do something different in order to get different results, right? They're going to say yes to that because it's very common. If you can't, and this is basically what Einstein said all those years ago. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You can also use the quote that like, if you want change, you have to change. Or if you can literally just say, to get different results, you've got to do something different, basically. But that's the type of point we're trying to make here. So, and then you're going to go on to this point right here, which is basically gaining the permission point. All this was kind of like defining the gap, saying that they're at this point and they're not at this point, and that they need to do something different, or else they're just going to stay where they are. That's kind of like stretching the gap and being like, they need to do something in order to see different results. So then what you then say, after that defining the gap, what you then say is you basically gain permission by saying, well, John, look, at this point in our call, I honestly can tell you're going to be a great fit for the line of work we do here at the agency. Would it be okay if I dissect exactly why I'm more than confident that I can help you scale your business to that 80K per month mark in a 12-month time span? That's all you basically say, and they're gonna say yes, 100%. Please show me what you've got. I've never had a person say no to this. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna do some regurgitation. I call it regurgitation, but basically all you're doing is like taking in what they've said and then basically spitting it back out to them. So you go, well, awesome, John. Well, my area of expertise is helping e-commerce businesses scale to multiple 6 and 7 figures using Facebook ads. Now, we typically work with, and then what you do is you state their exact situation. So I would go, and John, we typically work with e-commerce businesses that don't have a solid Facebook ad strategy, and they're still using stuff like influencer marketing in order to get sales. And what we do is we help them scale to 6 and 7 figures, multiple 6 and 7 figures. And we do this through our 90-day social paid program, which is done for you, social paid ads, paid traffic advertising on the social media platform, John. You then go completely silent. So when you state what you're an expert at, what you need to do though is make sure that when you state this sort of stuff, you're using exactly what they've said to you. So for example, if you're talking to a real estate business, you would go and say here that you help, would it be okay if you explain why you're more than confident you can help them scale to whatever they've said in 12 months. They're then going to say yes. Then you go, awesome, well, Mark, my area of expertise is helping real estate businesses scale to 20K per month using Facebook ads. And we typically work with busy estate agents that are still using cold calling and cold emails to get clients. And what we do is we create an automated system for them that pulls them in new high quality leads every month so they can close them and scale up to that 20K, 30K, 40K per month mark. And we do this through our our 90-day lead generation done for you Facebook ads service. That's basically all you say. Obviously, come up with a better name than that because it's kind of long, but you get the idea, guys. Basically, all you're doing is stating their exact situation and then regurgitating it back to them because you want to make your offer sound like it's an exact perfect fit. And again, once you state this, you want to go completely silent here, as a typical next response is, okay, so how does this all work? And this is where their logical side of their brain will kick in. They'll hear that you're a perfect fit. You've sold them emotionally, and now you've stated that what you do is exactly for them. They're then going to say, okay, cool. So how does this all work? And that's where the logic comes into this. So what you do is you then start explaining your services because they're going to ask you, how does this all work? How do you do that? What are the specifics of this? What you want to do is then explain your services. And there's two main ways you can do this. You can do this with case studies, or you can do this without case studies. With case studies, what you can do is show 1 to 3 of your best case studies that you've previously got, either from yourself or your team member. I recommend you getting a team member from the beginning, and this is one of the reasons why. Then what you can do is you break down the math behind the results that you've actually been able to generate previously, and then break down the numbers in their business and show them why it's a no-brainer for them to join on with your agency. You can then show, also make sure when you're showing your case studies, you want to clearly show how you took a previous business from A to B or X to Y. And what I mean by that is you helped this business, they were stuck at 10K per month, and you scaled them to 50K per month using Facebook ads. So you want to show them like a clear-cut return on investment that you've been able to generate for a business. And make sure you pull up like your screen and actually screen share this, pull up your calculator, pull up your actual results, pull up your business ads manager if you don't have like an NDA, or pull up a presentation if you do have an NDA, and you can actually just show results without, showing the business owner's name and stuff like that. And with this method, it's definitely gonna, I kid you not, it definitely is easier to close clients when you've got case studies and stuff like that, because you can just show them exactly that you've done this before and they can have that confidence. However, it's still possible without case studies, and here's how you do that. You can legally and ethically what you call leverage authority hijacking. Authority hijacking is saying that you have a mentor out in the US, for example, that if you're in the UK, that's been able to generate X results, help the business go from X to Y, and you can explain how he's done that and how he's taught you how to do this, so you know exactly how to do that. And that is what you call authority hijacking, because it gives you authority as well, because you know this person, this is your associate that you're talking about here, your mentor you're talking about here, and he's taught you all this, and you now know this knowledge that you can then implement in their business to help them get results. Then what you also want to do, or what you can also do, is break down the maths behind your services if you have 0 results. So if you don't want to authority hijack, what you're going to have to do is explain your services in excruciating detail down to the pence and penny. And what I mean by that is, if you're working with e-commerce businesses, factor in their overheads, such as their staff cost, their advertising cost, how much they're going to be able to afford to acquire a new customer, what their break-even ROAS is. You have to do all these numbers and make sure you know your numbers down to the T. Show them certain formulas. If you pull in a customer at this much and acquire a customer at this much, this is how much profit you're going to make. That means we are left with a customer acquisition cost of this, which is still going to be profitable. All these sorts of numbers, you need to show them that you basically know what you're talking about. If you don't have case studies as well, you can also offer some form of guarantee out of confidence, not fear. And what I mean by that is, you can say, well, John, look, I've not done this before, but I've taught this and I know my numbers and I can see why this is going to work. I have associates out in the US that's done this. I can also offer you a guarantee. I'm so confident in this, I can also offer you a guarantee. So when you offer your guarantee, state something that makes sense to them, as in, like, if we don't double your ad spend over a period of like 90 days, something like that, you can get a refund. Or if we don't make you some sort of profit back in 90 days, we'll give you a full refund or something like that. We work for free. That sort of guarantee you want to offer. You don't want to offer it out of fear though. And what I mean by that is, you don't sound confident enough, so you're offering a guarantee just in case you fuck up. Instead, what you want to do is say, I'm so confident, John, that we can actually generate your results. I'm willing to work for free if we don't get you this result. That's how you want to frame it. It's worded slightly different, but it has a huge difference on the way your guarantee comes across. Then what you want to do is you want to pull up your screen share and go through actual calculations with them to show that this offer is a no-brain offer. As in, you want to break down their ROAS, you want to show them how much it's going to cost them per lead, or how much it's going to cost them to acquire a new customer, what their profit margins are currently at, and why that's going to allow them to spend X amount on Facebook ads, and that's then going to result in this if the numbers stay steady, that sort of stuff. And just show them that it's a no-brainer. Even include your service fee and say, even if I charge you $2,000, for example, we're going to be able to, and we get a customer acquisition cost at this, and we can only pull in 100 new customers a month through your Facebook ads, which is only X amount of customers a day. We're still going to bring you back 20, 30 grand or something, like you say an actual specific number, say 30 grand or something like that. That means we've spent 2 grand on Facebook ads. That means that's 28 grand. Your profit margins are 80%. And then you work it out and then show them exactly why it's a no-brainer, even including your service fee, even include additional costs on their side, such as their staff costs. Even show them that even with your staff, you're still going to be able to afford this, because again, a lot of people don't kind of remember that e-commerce businesses do have staff, they do have cost of goods as well. So make sure you figure out their real break-even ROAS. Without case studies, yes, it is slightly harder to close clients, but it still can be done. The key to doing this is having this all written out way in advance, and make sure you practice it and go through it and you know your numbers down to the T basically. So that's how you're going to close clients without case studies. So moving on to point number 8, or step number 8 if you will, in the sales call, you want to basically extract objections. So once you've stated out your offer, how it works, what you're then going to use like this bridge line here, which is, so John, so once you've explained all your numbers and broke down your case studies and stuff like that, you're going to say, so John, as you can see from the numbers and the mathematics behind this and in your business in particular, this is a complete no-brainer in all honesty. With that being said, do you still have any sort of concerns moving forward or anything like that, John? So basically all you're doing there is saying that you've broken down the numbers for them and you can see that it's a complete no-brainer for them and they should just sign up immediately. But with that being said, do you still have any concerns moving forward, John? So the reason why you want to do this is because most people think that being good at objection handling is the key, quote unquote key to sales. However, as heavily stated in the book called Spin Selling, absolute amazing book, and from my own personal experience, diffusing objections before they even come up is a way better strategy than handling objections. And if you do this script right, there's not going to be much or any objections at all. And they'll go right into asking you basically how much is all this, going to cost in order to run my ads or do your social media marketing for them, social media management for them. So closing clients, part number 9, the open. Some people call this to close, but what they don't really realize and remember in SMMA is that when you quote unquote close a client, you're not actually closing them. You're opening a relationship up. As in closing, if it was a one-off product, then yes, that would be closing. Closing would be like, you pay me £200 for a new monitor. I give you a new monitor. You keep the monitor. You only need to reach out to me if you have a problem with the monitor. That wouldn't be an open relationship. However, with clients, you're pretty much going to be talking to them on a day-to-day basis for months at a time. They're going to be your friends. You're going to have to build a real relationship with them. That's the reason why I call my quote-unquote close as an open. So I say, as soon as they ask, okay, so Montel, how much is all this going to cost? I say, well, John, my fee for all of this is only $3,000 per month plus ad spend. And the key here is to go completely silent. As you can see, it's underlined in red, completely silent. Silence is a indicator that you are completely confident in your price. Do not try to stutter here. I mean, don't stutter, and don't try to kind of justify your price. You don't ever want to do that. Silence is the key here. Once they say yes, that's cool. If they don't say yes here, you're going to have to handle some objections. But again, there shouldn't be any objections because you've gone through the script and done it correctly. And you've also extracted objections before you stated your price so that you could handle them and diffuse them here. Obviously, at this point, if they do have some concerns, you obviously handle those concerns. And then they go, okay, cool. Well, I completely see and I understand your offer. I mean, how much is all this going to cost, John? I mean, Montel. Then you go, oh, well, John, my service fee for all of this is only $3,000 per month plus ad spend. Then again, you go completely silent on this. And then once they say stuff like, okay, so how do we move forward? What are the next steps? Or yes, sure, let's do this. Or something on that, basically on that sort of like on those lines, basically. What you want to do is say, awesome, well, which email address should I use for invoicing? And then what you're going to do is you're going to take their email address right there and then on the call, so that you can actually go to Simple Invoices, set up a subscription, and send them the payment on the call. I repeat, on the call. The rule number 1 is you want to take payment on the call. If you don't take payment on a call and they say stuff like, oh, I want to think about it, ask them what is it exactly that you need to think about that you can't ask me here on the call. But again, if you've handled the objections previously and extracted them previously, you probably won't need to do that. So at this point, they shouldn't have any objections. So you need to take the payment on the call because objections normally are just fluff and BS for them trying to escape the call without making a commitment. So again, to reiterate, rule number 1 is you want to take payments on the call, not off the call. You don't want to send them no email. You don't want to send them more information. You don't want them going off and talking with their team or their wife or something like that. You want to take the payment on the call, handle all the objections if there are any, and then take payment on the call. So awesome. Now you have a client, you've taken payment, you set it up, payment's gone through, you have a client. Awesome. But what on earth do you do now? This was the bit I was confused with as well. What you do is you send them over your onboarding link, which is again a link which is basically either built on ClickFunnels, which is a funnel type thing, or it's a series of 7 miniature videos on YouTube. You can use like a YouTube playlist, or you can even use like a Vimeo playlist. I recommend you stick to Vimeo. This is a free way of doing it. You then send them that and you get them onboarded, and then you get them into Slack. And then what you do is when it comes to running ads, what you want to do is, yes, I mean, you can run the ads yourself, but if I'm being honest, if you try to run the ads yourself as a beginner, this is, it's completely up to you. You can do it. But if I'm being honest with you guys, I think it's not only dangerous, but I think it's stupid and irresponsible of you if you try to do that yourself, if you're a complete beginner, because you're risking people's money. Yeah, they can get very upset if you fuck up and don't know what you're doing. So I know this is not easy by any means, but I do recommend you find a few media buyers and have them basically in the back of your head / in your Rolodex for when you land the client. And what I mean by that is go out there, find a whole bunch of media buyers, like 2 to 3 media buyers, and you have them in your Rolodex. Like basically, you can contact these people. You basically you talk to them and you have them in like your Rolodex, your contact list, if you will. And you know that they're there in the back of your head for when you land the client. So as soon as you land the client, you can just go message them and they'll be ready to get going. That's the best position you could be in. And make sure that they have awesome results as well and they are actually a legit media buyer. So here's why I actually suggest outsourcing Facebook ads from the very beginning. You see, Facebook ads is a very complicated skill that requires years of mastery. Again, you see how the mastery is in bold and it's in italics. Mastery means fucking mastery. It takes a long time to master this sort of stuff. Now, you'll probably, in order to master this sort of stuff, that leads us to point number 2. In order to even master Facebook ads, you're probably going to need to buy an expensive course or 2 or 3. Believe me, you're gonna have to probably buy a whole bunch of different courses. Each one of those courses is probably like $997, which is the typical cliche guru pricing that they use. And you see, even when you do have these courses and you're learning these courses and you sit there and spend a whole bunch of time on these courses, learning Facebook ads through courses is basically akin to trying to learn like how to swim. Like trying to learn how to swim by watching courses on how to swim. You don't learn how to swim by watching YouTube videos on how to swim. I mean, you can pick up tips and stuff like that. But learning how to swim, you have to get in the fucking water and you have to swim. So that means basically we're left with 2 options. We either spend thousands of our own money on Facebook ads, running actual ads for our own businesses and stuff like that, to trying to get real world experience, or we actually find somebody who has the experience and just hire them. As you can see, it's sounding like the best thing to do right here is to hire somebody who's already doing it. And I know a lot of people say that I'd rather learn Facebook ads because it's a good skill. Yes, that's cool and all, but think about this. If you go and hire a media buyer, you get clients, you get paid. What's gonna happen then is, if you really wanted to, you could literally get your media buyer to actually teach you real world Facebook ads that he's using to get your clients great results, whilst you're making money from that exact same client. Imagine that. That's like a win-win-win-win-win situation, because you've got a client making money, you've got a media buyer saving time, the media buyer is winning, he's getting paid to do what he loves, which is Facebook ads. You're then winning again, because not only are you getting paid by your client, you're getting paid by your client, which is then being used to pay for your media buyer, which is then being paid for him in order to teach you, because you're probably gonna have to pay him to actually teach you or something like that. Or you might even do it for free if you're paying him quite a lot. So he's gonna teach you. Now you're learning a new skill, and your client's winning because they're getting great results, which is like a 5x win. So that is an even smarter idea, if I'm being honest with you. And again, I'm not saying that you don't need to learn Facebook ads. Yes, I highly recommend you spend around 10, 20, 30 hours learning all the tips about Facebook ads, but that's it. Do that, spend 2 days on that at the absolute max, just so that you can basically speak the language with business owners on a call and show them certain strategies that you know work through the videos that you've seen and through some of the best experts on Facebook, so you can sell your services. So yes, understand Facebook ads enough so you can sell your services. So like I said, it's a triple win scenario if you have a media buyer, because you win as you can use their case studies to use to land clients. You also make money and you free up your time because you're closing clients now, because you're obviously able to land them easier because you've got case studies now and they trust you. You also get to free up your time because your media buyer is delivering results. Your client also then wins because you have a professional, an actual professional, that should be in bold, looking after their account and their Facebook accounts and growing their business with cutting edge strategies, and a professional person that knows exactly what they're doing. And your media buyer wins because they are behind their computer getting paid to do what they love, which is Facebook ads. Now, where on earth do you find good media buyers? So you can use Facebook groups, but be careful because most of these are full with people who are trying to do the same thing as you, which is, poach for media buyers. And people of these groups, the admins and stuff like that, and people just around the group and the community get really pissed off with agency owners trying to just start an agency from scratch and find media buyers. So yes, you can get kicked out of groups if you piss people off. So you have to be very smooth with how you word your stuff. You can use freelance websites, which is what I've done to find my media buyers. I found 2 media buyers on here. I even found a media buyer that was like working with Kevin David, like absolute beast of a media buyer. He ran like most of his ads for like a couple of years or something like that. He's actually had some awesome results. But yeah, you can use stuff like Upwork, Freelancer, Guru.com, People Per Hour, and Fiverr. I use Upwork to find media buyers if you're wondering. By the way, if you're wondering how you do this, you don't just post one time for a media buyer and think you're gonna get one. You have to post like an absolute like addict, like you're just addicted to posting the same post. Like it's ridiculous how many times you have to post to find a media buyer. So I've actually found as well that you can actually search for media buyers on LinkedIn and you can actually start networking with them. And as you can see on the screen on the right, I typed in Facebook media buyer in LinkedIn. As you can see, there's 100,000 people with the title Facebook media buyer or some sort of advertiser in LinkedIn, and that's just for that one keyword. You can even use stuff like Facebook advertiser. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different people on there you can go and connect with. And again, you only need like 5 people to come forth and say they're a media buyer that are good, and then you can vet them down. But basically what you want to do is you want to make sure that you vet all applications using Google Forms. So what you want to do is create a Google form and ask very qualifying questions to these media buyers based on what the results they've got and how long they've been a media buyer, if they're an agency owner and stuff like that, to basically vet them before jumping on a call with them. And then what you want to do is jump on a call with like the top 3 to 5 of those application forms that you get through, that get completed, and you want to hire like obviously just one of them if you only need one media buyer. But what you want to do is have calls with like the top 3 to 5 of them, and then make sure that you hire one of them, but have others in the background as well, just in case something ever happens to your media buyer, God forbid, maybe they go sick or something like that and you need a new media buyer. So let's talk about paying your team. So we're building a real team here, guys, a real business. As you can see, you can call them contractors, you can call them media buyers and stuff like that, but realistically they're going to be a valuable part of your team, especially your media buyer. Your media buyer is going to be probably the most profitable thing you can do for your agency ever. Getting a good one is going to take you a long time. It's probably going to be very difficult to do. Yeah, it's very difficult to do, but once you've done it, it's one of the most profitable things you can do, because think about it, it's your media buyer that gets great results for your clients, and it's your clients that pay you. So if your clients are happy, they're going to stay on a long time. And if you can basically increase your retention rate basically means how long a client stays on with your agency for and continues your services for and pays you for. If you can increase your average retention rate from like 1 month, because maybe your clients are leaving after 1 month because you have a really crappy media buyer or you're doing it yourself, to like 12 months, as you can see, you're gonna make 12 times more money from one client without even needing to get more clients. So as you can see, it's crazy. Not only that, but if you're in the e-commerce niche where you're getting performance kickback fees, if your media buyer is amazing and gets amazing results, makes 100 grand profit, and you have a 10% ROAS deal, you're gonna make 10 grand from just a performance fee, and you may have like a 3 grand retainer fee in there. So you just made 13 grand from that one client from your media buyer, and you can pay them like 750 to like 1,500 per month on your media buyer, to your media buyer for something like that, depending on obviously how much they charge, of course. But yeah, for those who are wondering, because I know that this was something I was wondering when I was first beginning all this stuff, no, you do not need to pay your media buyer or your team until you have been paid yourself. As in, when I say go find a media buyer, I'm not saying you're gonna go and hire them right on the spot and pay them $1,000 right there, or however much they're charging you right there and then. What you do is you find your media buyer, you have them on in like your Rolodex, in your contacts. You then go and close a client for, I don't know, 3 grand a month. And then what you do is you use that 3 grand or whatever you close a client for to pay for your actual media buyer to then get them to deliver the results. Yes, there is a bit of a time in between where you get the payment and it needs to clear in your bank. So hopefully you have the money to float just for a couple of like a week or something like that, because payments come through. For example, if you get a payment from a client of $3,000, it might take like a week to go through your Stripe account into your actual bank to then pay your media buyer. So tell your media buyer you're going to pay them 2 weeks into your deal. Basically, when you close a new client, they get paid 2 weeks into it, so you have that time. If you don't have the money to float that 2 weeks in between, then you can basically just tell them it's going to be a 2 week type of thing. I get paid 2 weeks later, it's going to clear through, then you're going to get paid on that particular day. If you tell them that very transparently and authentically, they're human, they probably understand. So your media buyer, you pay for them after you receive payments from your client, like I just said. Now you pay them on a per month per client basis, or per client per month basis, as in you don't pay them per ad account, as in if they're managing 5 ad accounts, you don't pay them I don't know, $100 for an ad account or something like that a day. You don't do that. What you do is you pay them per client. So if you have 10 clients, you pay them each individually for those 10 clients on a per month basis. If you've got 10 clients, you probably can hire somebody full time in-house and have them as an actual employee and cut down on your costs by having them on like a set fee each and every month. Obviously that's up to you. It's completely up to you how you run your business. Now, if I'm being honest, you're realistically going to be looking anywhere from like $750 to $1,500 per month per client for a good media buyer. If you literally know any cheaper, let me know that they've got great results. Hook your boy up, send me some over here. I'm all set for media buys, but you know what I mean. Who doesn't want more media buys? But yeah, just be wary about that, guys. You're definitely going to be paying decent money for what they do because they have great skill. Then you should pay them decent money for what they do because they're going to be the most profitable thing besides outreach that you can ever do in your business. So you're probably thinking, okay, cool, I know where to find media buyers, I know how to pay them and stuff like that, but why on earth would a media buyer work with me if I'm a complete beginner? So I've actually heard people say, you know, if a media buyer are experts at what they do and they're amazing at running ads and they can take stores from like 0 to 700K in like 3 months, which is what my media buyer can do, and I'm a complete beginner, why on earth would a media buyer work with me if they could just start their agency themselves and stuff like that? Which is a very viable question, very logic question to ask. Now this, when I first heard this and came across this and I kind of started thinking about this myself, this made me realize like entrepreneurship itself isn't just about selling products or your services. You literally as an entrepreneur must be able to convince people and sell other people on your vision and move people and convince people and persuade people. This is what I found entrepreneurship really is. So you definitely need to be able to get good at that. Everything is sales. Now, as that cliche saying goes, ABC, always be closing. But guys, please remember, like this is what I want you to keep in mind. If the media buyer you are basically talking to wanted to start an agency, first and foremost, you wouldn't be having that conversation with them because you probably wouldn't have reached out to them because they probably wouldn't have positioned themselves as a media buyer / freelancer / advertiser. Nor would you be calling them a media buyer anyway because you'd be calling them an agency owner. Believe me, if a media buyer who has solid results really wants to be an agency owner, they would be a freaking agency owner, not a media buyer. So just themselves, calling themselves a media buyer is their own choice to be a media buyer instead of a agency owner. That's what I'm trying to say here, guys. Also, if this line of thinking was present everywhere in the world, there would literally be no Amazon, no Apple, no Sony, no Tesla, or any other big companies that you use and hear about on a day-to-day basis. The reason for this is because, think about it, I'm going to pose this question back at you then. If you say to me, okay, Montel, well, why would an expert at Facebook ads want to work with me if I have no clients and I'm a beginner? Why don't they just start their own agency? I could literally say that back to you and say, okay, well, if that's the case then, why is it that the engineers at Apple who actually create the iPhones by hand, why is it that they don't go and start their own Apple? Or for example, I'll give you another example. Why is it that the chefs at McDonald's, if they're so good at creating burgers, why don't they go and make their own burger shop? Or I'll give you another example. What about the software engineers at Amazon? If they can build a whole Amazon store and put products on it and make the algorithm get you to buy more and more, and they're extremely good at the software engineering side of that, and they can build a website for fun, why is it that they don't have them software engineers themselves, why don't they have their own Amazon? As you can see, there's more things that go into a business than just being good at the actual service delivery. There's way more things that go into this. Now, that brings me on to this point. Whilst running amazing ads and getting like absolutely killer results for your clients is extremely important. I don't want to downplay this right here, guys. I know that I've gone through and said you should hire media buyers and stuff like that, but I don't want you guys to take my words out of context. Yes, running ads is extremely important and getting good client results is literally like the aim of the game. It's the bloodline of your business, apart from outreach, of course. Outreach and getting clients great results and closing are like the main things. Those 3 main things right there are super important. Ads are extremely important. Results are extremely important because that's going to dictate how long your clients stay on for, and it's going to be impossible for you to even scale your business to 10K a month, for example, if your clients are just leaving after month 1. So yes, getting clients to stay around through amazing results is extremely important. Now, with that being said, that disclaimer there being said, yes, ads are important, but there are way more moving parts that go into an agency than just the ads. There's prospecting, there's outreach, there's team building, there's management, there's client communications, there's sales, there's closing, there's planning, there's funnel building. There's all sorts of stuff that go into running an agency. Typically, as well, what I found is that media buyers are super geeky, like introverted people who are just literally nuts and crazy about numbers. They want to basically be able to earn money online without needing to talk to people face to face. I've found that they're very like introverted, like geeky people, like nerdy people that just love computers and just like love being in their bedroom, and they don't really quote unquote have a life. So excuse me if that sounds kind of wrong, but like I've noticed that like most of my media buyers that I speak to are like really nerdy people that stay in their house and they don't really like going outside and talking to people. So, and again, you guys have to respect that some people just don't like the fact of building a business. Some people just want to work for a business and not have to worry about managing payments, managing clients, closing sales, finding and doing all sorts of other business stuff. Some people just want to do what they're good at, which is just running the Facebook ads. For example, some chefs just want to bake in a restaurant. Some chefs are literally just good at baking and they just want to work at a restaurant. Or some people are just good at cooking and they just want to work at a restaurant. That doesn't mean they want to start a whole restaurant themselves. They may want to in the future, but they, at this point in time, they just want to be a chef. Some people just don't ever want to start a business because they know it's stressful and there's 110 things that go into a business, multiple things that go into a business. They just literally want to do the one thing that they're good at, which is running the ads. So yes, you have to respect that as well. So let me wrap all this together, guys. So number one, what you're going to do after this video is you're going to decide on a niche. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick a niche. Now, what I recommend you do is you kind of pick something that you're interested in. That's kind of like the cliche thing that gurus say in my particular industry, in this SMMA industry. But I actually believe it's better yet to even pick a niche that you've spotted a trend in that's genuinely trending, because the market, I found, doesn't care about you. They only care about what you can do for a particular niche. And if a niche has some sort of trends that you can actually adhere to and actually help them with, go and jump into that niche, even if you don't like it. Yes, I know that you've heard like, I don't know, like Steve Jobs talk about like start something that you love. Yes, I do believe you should start something that you love eventually. But right now, when you start your agency, this is for money. This is your cash flow business. You need to start this business in order to get cash flow right now so that you don't have to go and work a friggin' shitty job in this whole COVID situation where jobs are just becoming less and less secure and more people are getting laid off. So pick something that you've seen a trend in, such as e-commerce businesses or like online businesses. Online accounting, for example, this particular month is all about self-assessment over in the UK, doing self-assessment tax. So as you can see, go and help tax accountants get more clients, basically. That would be a trend right there. So I also recommend you pick something that you have prior knowledge in. If you kind of have prior knowledge into something, yes, definitely you can go and pick that. You can also do something that you've basically done before as well. So like prior knowledge, that sort of stuff, definitely do that. Also guys, I want you to remember that there is no perfect niche. So do not spend more than 2 days on doing ample research. Google is 100% your friend. You can literally go and Google what it's like to be an e-commerce business owner, find out their problems, find out what you can do to actually help them and stuff like that. You can literally go and Google like what the trends are for businesses right now, whether they're opening back up, how much is going to be predicted to spend in certain markets, and jump into that market, because all you need to do is get 5 to 7 clients and you're like 3 to 4K each, and you're literally making a whole bunch of money right there. So above all else, I recommend you pick a niche you know is not going to be affected by COVID, or is not affected right now by COVID, and who can afford to pay you at least $2,000 a month. And what I mean by that, guys, is there's no point going and picking like a niche like restaurants right now. Like if you're in a place in the world where restaurants are open, then yes, definitely. But for me right now, restaurants, every single one of them are closed. Restaurant businesses are taking a super hit. For example, salons, nail and beauty bars and stuff like that are all closed. So why on earth would I go and pick a business where I know that I can't even go and get clients because they're all closed? So what I would recommend you do is go and pick a niche or industry where you know the businesses are open and stuff like that. And I also recommend you go and pick a niche that can pay you at least $2,000, because that's going to help you scale really, really quickly. And you don't want to really be working, like, why would you go and sell to people who can't afford your services? That's backwards. That's like literally going to, that's just extremely backwards, guys. Definitely pick a niche that you can actually afford your services. Now, once you've picked a niche, what you want to do is identify that niche's problems. Now, people get this backwards all the time. People pick the service first and then offer it just to a random niche. But what you need to do is identify a niche and then identify their problems, and then figure out what service you can provide to solve those problems. So what you need to do is you need to find a genuine problem a niche has first, and then you go about figuring out how to solve that problem profitably for them, and you're going to get paid to do so. So this is like what you call the market backwards approach. You first of all go to the market, you do research into a niche, you see what problems they have, you then figure out how you can solve those problems by saying, hey, well, these guys have a problem with email marketing, these guys have a problem with getting customers online. So what we can do is actually offer something like that to help them get more customers online. And then you go and offer that solution to their problem. And that's what real entrepreneurship is. And this is how you should definitely do it. So once you've identified the niche and found their problems, you want to find the right pieces. So then what you want to do is you want to then go about figuring out how to acquire the skills you need in order to fully solve and satisfy these customers' needs and problems in the most efficient and time efficient way possible. As in, you need to go and figure out, do you need to learn Facebook ads? Do you need to learn Instagram ads? Or in fact, do you actually want to find people who already have these skills and put them in place? So these are the two basic options when it comes to finding the right pieces to put in place. Then what you want to do is you want to pick your weapon of outreach. And what I mean by that is, again, you want to select the best medium for getting in front of key decision makers of these businesses, and you want to reach out to them directly to speak with them and set up meetings. So your messaging on what you're basically going to be helping them with on your offer should immediately strike a nerve with them. As in, you need to find a problem that's very painful for them, and if they could solve it, they're willing to pay money. And then you want to say that you are a person that specializes in that service and that you can help them with this. And that should immediately make the hairs on the back of their neck stand up, as in like, oh shit, that's exactly what I've been struggling with in my business. Let me jump on a call with you so we can actually talk about how this basically all works. Then what I want you to do is collect at least 100 replies to see what the data is telling you. If it's primarily like negative, such as like, oh no, go away, we don't need that, we just don't need that right now, you're gonna have to change your offer. What I mean by that is, don't marry Facebook ads as a service. If you see, for example, if you're trying to offer Facebook ads to e-commerce businesses and they all say that we don't need Facebook ads, but we need Google ads, we need Google ads, and like most of your replies are saying that they need Google ads, well, obviously you can see that data right there is showing you they want Google ads. So why not go and find somebody who knows Google ads and offer that as a service? Don't marry your service, guys. This is what everybody gets stuck on. Don't marry your service. You can literally switch services if the data's there. This is the key. I don't want you to just start switching services just because you feel like it. You actually have to look at the data without any emotion, just with sheer logic alone, and offer the service that they actually want. What's the point in offering, for example, if you wanted chicken and rice for dinner, why would I then offer you a tuna sandwich when you just told me you want chicken and rice and you're not going to buy my tuna sandwich off me? But if I cooked you chicken and rice, you'd buy that off me. That's exactly what we're doing right here. So you then want to secure the bag, and what I mean by that is close clients, take payments, rinse and repeat the process. When I break it down like this, it sounds very, very simple. What I mean by that is, yes, you want to go and find a niche, figure out their problems, go about figuring out how you solve those problems, and you want to close clients and take payments. Yes, it does sound easy, but no, it's not actually that easy, guys. I've heard this saying one time, I can't remember who said it, but like, growing an agency is the easiest, hardest thing you will ever do, which is kind of like an oxymoron, but it actually is very, very true, because it's very simple. The business model, all you're doing is finding niche problems, figuring out how to solve it, and then solving it, and they're paying you for that. It literally sounds super easy, but there's a bunch of things that go into this. But yeah, what you want to do is you want to ensure you put systems in place to help you free up your time, or you're going to run into what I like to call golden handcuffs. And what I mean by that is, I mentioned it earlier. Let's say you close 10 clients right now, 10 e-commerce clients, and they're paying you $2,000 each. Great, you've just made 20K, you've just scaled your business to 20K a month. However, now you have to service all those clients yourself, and that's going to be a complete headache if you don't have the right systems in place, which is your media buyers and your team members. Now, once you've got clients and you're closing stuff, and you're rinsing and repeating that, what you also want to be doing in the background is obviously making sure you're delivering amazing results. And the key to digital marketing and a social media marketing agency is to make sure that you are retaining clients, as that's the only way to build up this business and stack your income, basically. And what I mean by that is, if you have an average retention rate of 1 month, then each month you're going to have to close a new client just to even stay at 2K a month. But if you have a retention rate of like 12 months and you keep closing clients each and every month, by the time 12 months roll around and you close a client each month, you're going to be making 24K a month, because you've got 12 clients now, each paying you 2K a month, instead of having to close 12 clients, one a month, and then each month they leave after just 1 month. So again, I just want to give you a quick reminder. Remember that it's easier to keep a client than it is to get one. So keep that in mind. So you can also, as well, by the way, guys, I've got to mention this, but like, delivering amazing results. When you deliver amazing results, you're going to be rewarded by your clients if you get them really awesome results, because what they're going to be doing is they're going to be telling your friends about you, who are probably also other business owners, is what I've noticed, and they're going to refer clients to you, and you're going to close clients that way as well. So make sure you're delivering awesome results. So guys, I hope you've actually enjoyed this presentation. This has been probably the longest video I have ever made on YouTube. Now, while I've actually tried my best to actually include everything in this video, there are still way more things, way more things to learn about building an agency. And none of this is quote unquote easy. Believe me, I've made it sound easy from like, you don't just go and go pick a niche, find a problem, solve it, get paid. It does sound easy, but it's not easy. I don't want you to think that this stuff is easy. So for those who aren't serious, feel free to take everything I've basically laid out today and given to you guys for completely free. You're free to take it and just completely leave. But for those who want to learn more and who are very, very serious about building their agency, I have something very, very special for you guys. So for you guys that are serious, I offer personalized, live, and tailored one-on-one help through my 4-week mentorship program. This, by the way, if you're wondering, is a full comprehensive live done for you program. This is not no pre-recorded program that you sit down and watch. This is basically live, where you get to literally work with me live on screen. You get to see my screen, you get to see what I'm looking at, you get to see what I'm clicking on. And what we do is you work with me one-on-one, and we build your agency out from complete scratch, or from where you are at right now in terms of how many clients you have and stuff like that. Either or, I can still help you. And again, you get to work with me for 4 weeks straight as we build out your agency live, basically. And each week what we do is we meet on Zoom. So again, Zoom is like Skype, gone on for ages, but pretty much what I try to do is stick to 1 hour each call. And again, each call is a live call. And again, you show up each week at the same time. You have a call with me directly one-on-one. It's not like it's 8 other people on the call. It's literally just me and you on the call. And what we do is we go through and build your agency live while I hold your hand, basically, and walk you through across the road, if you will. And the reason why I've done it this way is because it's way more interactive. It's way more fun as well. And it's way more valuable because I can actually deep dive into way more stuff. You can literally stop me and be like, hey Montel, why did you just send that message just there? What's the reason behind clicking on that link or something like that? Or why did you put this link here? That sort of stuff. You can literally stop me and be like, Montel, why have you done this a certain way? Also guys, between the weeks that we have, so basically, like each week when you turn up to the call, between those weeks, so like let's say you have your call on Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, you're not going to be speaking to me on Zoom. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be getting coached by me via voice notes through my own personal phone, so that you can ask me any questions about anything at any time and get a response back, typically within 4 to 6 hours. Of course, that's when I'm awake, of course. So what I mean by that, guys, is throughout the weeks, you're going to get coached by me via voice notes, via like little Loom videos as well. And I always update my training so that whenever I do something new, you can always get that thrown in your folder as well. So this is like a kind of like an evergreen course, if you will. But guys, look, this is not for everybody. Now, I don't want to put any sort of like scarcity, salesy psychology, like reverse psychology, like friggin' salesy tactics index. I'm genuinely not that type of dude. But like guys, due to the results I've been able to achieve for myself and my students, this is not a cheap program. Not only that, but my time is very, very valuable, as I've got an agency to build. I also got this YouTube channel, and I also help people with their agencies as well. So as you can see, my time is very, very pressed. So I have to charge what I'm worth. And I also know that I've been studying this stuff now for over like 2 to 3 years or something like that. So this is for very serious people only, who know they must have skin in the game in order to get in the game, basically. This is for people who are either ready to start their own social media marketing agency or scale their existing one. And we have people in the community, by the way, if you're wondering, from all walks of life. Their agencies are all different sizes. There's actually 27 of us in the program right now. So yeah, it's a great community. It's tight knit. I get around to everybody, and it's very personalized and tailored help that you're going to get, very specialized help as well. That being said, guys, you see, if you was to go and find tailored help like this on this sort of level, it will easily set you back $2,500 per month from anybody in my field. And believe me, I know, because I've been watching the market, all the other quote unquote gurus. I know exactly what they're offering, how they offer it, what they price it as, because again, I'm a big guy in market research, as you can see from the slides. So I know exactly who's pricing what at what. So to get something like this, a program like this, or a mentorship program like this, where it's live and you get this sort of level of detail and care and tailored help, you are literally going to be set back $2,500. Be prepared to pay for that. So with that being said, my program, I've actually priced it, even though it's only sub $1,500, it packs gut-wrenching levels of value, guys. I'm kidding you not. A program, I busted my ass for this. I've put everything I've got into this. This is my life's work, my career. I take this stuff very, very seriously. And my program is sub $1,500, just because I want to make it accessible to most people. I could easily charge you $2,500 for the program and still get you an amazing ROI, because I can show you how to get client number 1. All you have to do is rinse and repeat that. You've got 10 clients. It's crazy. So guys, what is actually covered in the actual program? Remember, the program is completely tailored to suit your exact needs and everything you are currently struggling with. But with that being said, here are like a few things that we can cover. I've probably missed a whole bunch of stuff out of this. Basically, guys, what I want to say to you guys is that yes, you can come into this program and basically create the program yourself. And what I mean by that, you can literally like write a full PDF sheet if you wanted to on all the points that you are basically struggling with, send that to me, and I can basically use that to teach you everything I basically know, because I'm pretty much well versed in pretty much everything SMMA. I wouldn't say everything SMMA because obviously I've not worked in every single niche, but anything you basically could know about taking payments, setting up systems, I've done and I'm doing right now in my business. And yes, I still actively run my agency. So here's the sort of stuff we can cover. Again, this is what we can cover. I probably missed out a whole bunch of stuff. So next level mindset stuff, I'm going to be jumping into mindset, automated outreach systems, how to automate that with VAs, manual outreach if you don't want to, you don't have the financial resources to outsource this sort of stuff. I'm going to teach you the manual systems on how to set up meetings consistently so you have multiple meetings a week, because if you can set up meetings consistently, you can get clients really easily. Because any idiot, let's say if you have like 100 meetings a week, even if you have a 1% close rate, you're still closing a client a week. So I'm also going to be showing you how to find top-notch media buyers. I'm also going to give you my exact hiring funnel process that basically allows you to vet all the media buyers, and at the end of that, pull you out really awesome media buyers that are going to be very effective for delivering results for your clients, so you never ever need to worry about that again. I'm also going to give you the onboarding training as well that basically allows you to onboard clients, and I'll give you the funnel that's basically included. We can also cover stuff like how to close complete strangers for like $1,000 plus or $2,000 plus in a single call, and how to actually do that without having to send over quote unquote more information or let them quote unquote think about it. I'm going to show you exactly how you close strangers, take a complete stranger into a paying customer or paying client within one phone call. I'm also going to show you how to diffuse objections and what you call the inception sales technique, where you incept a thought into someone else's mind, have that person think that thought's an original thought, and have them basically sign on with your agency using that thought. I'm also going to show you how to make sure that your clients' results are absolutely stellar. I'm actually going to show you exactly how you go find top rated media buyers, like I said. I'm also going to show you how to set meetings with cold email outreach. I'm going to show you everything basically all to do with Upwork, the Upwork strategy. I can also show you stuff like case study building, using sales funnels, and get inbound clients. So those are all the things that we can cover. And what we'll do is we'll go through on our initial call and actually talk about what you need and exactly what you're struggling with. And again, like I said, if you don't even want any of this sort of stuff, you can literally build the program yourself, in terms of you can send me a whole PDF file on what you're struggling with, and we can go through all of that. So what do you actually get with the program? You get my undivided attention throughout the calls and throughout the 4 weeks. Very, very, very valuable. As in, you literally get me as a mentor undividedly to help you build your agency from complete scratch or wherever you are at right now for a whole 4 weeks straight. And trust me, we can get a lot of stuff done just in 1 week, never mind 4 weeks. So I'm also going to give you my personal mobile details so that you can contact me 24 hours a day, and you get to actually keep this for life. So me personally, I don't want this mentorship program just to be like a 4 week thing and then I forget about you, because I know that sort of stuff happens as well. I've had people in my program talk about other people's 4 week programs. I'm not going to mention any names, say that this is exactly what happened to them. But basically, you get to keep my contact details for life, and you can contact me at any time. My program, I want you to be my brother almost, as in like you guys are my family. I call my program the people in my program my family. I don't even call them students, I call them my family. And these guys joke about with me all the time. We talk about business all the time. We have funny conversations, and even people that I was working with like a year ago to this day, they literally still talk to me on a day-to-day basis, even now, even though their quote unquote 4 weeks ended 11 months ago, something like that. So you're going to get live, unmatched, interactive training where I can share my screen with you so you can see every single button that I'm clicking on, and you can literally stop me in my tracks and ask me, why have I sent that particular outreach message? Why have I replied to this message this way? Why have I done this thing this way? Can you slow down? Can you go back? Can you scroll back up? It's very interactive. It's not like a pre-recorded course where you can't do that. You can literally ask me right there on the spot. If something pops into your head, oh, hey, Montel, I had this idea. What do you think about this? Why have you done this, Montel? That's exactly what this course is all about. So what you also get is an exact replica of my business, as in all the scripts that you need, for example, the outreach scripts, the outreach systems, the sales scripts, the templates, the contracts that allow you to lock clients in for multiple months so you can have a secure income for like 3 to 6 months at a time. The website templates, the funnel templates, they're all built for you. Even the slides, even the question forms, even the intake forms, even the hiring process, they're all completed for you. All you have to do is change your name and you get them given to you for completely free. And I always update these as I go along. All you have to do, like I said, is change out your logo, change out my logo to your logo. And then what you also get is massive accountability. You will see that I'm a very big guy on accountability. So it's literally impossible to slack in my program, because I know that some of you guys will be buying courses. I did this myself, and then you go off and then you buy these courses and then you learn the information and then you just don't take action, or you just start slacking. You take action for a bit and then you just start slacking. Well, with me, it's literally impossible for you to slack, because I'm going to be causing some extreme mental, financial, and business shifts in your life. I'm also going to be holding you accountable, and I'm going to be your accountability partner, which in itself is an amazing thing. And I've literally had people literally try to pay me just to be an accountability partner. I don't know why they would actually want me to be their accountability partner. I mean, I'm pretty sure anybody that could do that. You can literally use your mom as an accountability partner, I guess. But I guess they wanted somebody who obviously knows how to build an agency and stuff like that as their accountability partner. So I guess I can see why. But yes, you get me as your accountability partner. And again, it's gonna be virtually impossible for you to slack in my program. So you also get that much needed reassurance, as well as someone to talk to throughout your entrepreneur journey, because I know it can be lonely as well. So what I mean by this, guys, is I know that like when you're first starting, you're wondering, am I doing this right? Are things supposed to be this way? Does it normally take this long to get a client? Or should I be doing this thing? Should I say this thing? You just need somebody to ask like questions sometimes too, just to get that reassurance, and I'll be that person for you, because I know exactly what I'm doing here with the agency, evidently. So I'll also be that person you can actually speak to and kind of lean on whenever you're lonely throughout your entrepreneur journey. We can joke about stuff and talk about just random stuff if you really wanted to, obviously business related as well. But yeah, what you also do is get access to a mentorship group with 27 other individuals in there that are all focusing on the agencies. So you're actually going to be able to find a friend for life. I also didn't mention that in this as well, you also get the recordings of our calls. So whenever we have a call on Zoom, I record all of them and I send them in your Google Drive folder. So all the resources, all of our calls are recorded and stuff like that, and you get them in your folder, and you get to download that folder and keep that for forever, basically. Now, I genuinely challenge you to find a better live one-on-one program for less than $1,500. I'll wait right here. I will literally wait right here. Go out there and find me a $1,500 per month program like this. This is value packed as this, and just tell me, and I'll make mine even better. Even better, and I'll still beat that one. So for those who are tired of procrastinating and they can see the opportunities that I've laid out here for you and want to use the current times as like these lockdowns and stuff like that as a time to build something real and something serious for once in their life, I'll leave my calendar link below this video. All you have to do is use that to book in a completely free strategy session where we're going to be going through a couple of things. So you're probably wondering, what on earth is this call? While this call is not a free coaching call, neither is it a pitch infested like sales call. You'll come to realize quickly that I'm not one for doing the sales stuff. I just diagnose situations and I offer you logistical things that are going to help you. That's genuinely it. I just show you, well, you're doing this wrong, this is what you need. You're probably going to need to your help with this. Do you want my help? Yes or no? No. Okay, cool. That's nothing wrong with me. Do you want my help? Yes, cool. Let's jump in the program. You won't see me doing any sort of reverse psychology, any sort of pitching like that. So what is this call? It's a simple conversation to establish where you're currently at, what your goals are, where you're trying to go, and what you need in order to actually get there. And then I'm going to see if you're a good fit for working with me one-on-one and for the program. So this call as well, guys, I just want to make sure that you guys understand that this call is not for looky-loos or for those who just want to book in to see what it's all about. This is for serious people only. You see, my time is precious and I have an actual agency with real clients that I have to attend to, and a real team I have to attend to, and real people that I have to manage on a day-to-day basis. I also have a YouTube channel as well and a personal brand that I have to manage as well. So please respect my time and do not book in if you are a looky-loo or you're not serious about booking in a call. With that being said, guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you go to the link on the screen, which is montelgordon.az.me/discovery to book in your call to see and break down and have a growth analysis session where we can talk about your growth, where you're at right now, and you're going to come away from that call with immense sorts of value, because I'm going to show you exactly what you need to get there. I'm going to show you exactly where you're at right now, what you need to do in order to get to your goals, what that's going to take realistically as well. That's the thing, setting expectations realistically. And I'm going to show you exactly how to get there, and I'm going to offer you a chance to work with me one-on-one. So guys, with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video, because it's taken me a long time. Hope that you've enjoyed it, and I hope that I speak with you guys very soon. Thanks. Have a good day.